Hey, everybody. Yes, I had to change my environment today, y'all. So I'm up in my house, in my room. I had to change my environment today because I'm getting some work done in the space that I'm usually in, and it's loud. But how y'all doing? I am. I'm ready to get into this treatment that I'm about to give today. I'm ready, y'all, because if y'all saw that live last night, there was some points made. You know, when you hosting and when you're like in the middle of you trying to kind of manage the panel, I'm looking at the comments, all of the technical stuff that happened behind the scenes. I'm trying to do that. So it was certain stuff said that I wasn't like registering. And I'm never gonna do a 5 hour live again, y'all, because that was, first of all, by the third or fourth hour, I was like ready to kill somebody. So yeah, I no. Mm-mm. Um, but I always watch my lives back. You know what I mean? I always watch everything. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, okay, good. Let me know if y'all can hear me because I feel like this mic, I'm in a different space, y'all. I got another environment. So, ignore everything. I can't be in my normal space because they're doing work in my house and it's loud. So I had to relocate. So I'm upstairs in the bedroom. Y'all might hear the kids and all that. Okay, good. I rewatched that and I was like, are they serious? Some of the points that was made, I can't even believe that I allowed some of those things to be said. So I'm about to like I got to get on. Yeah, I can't let these things slide. I just can't. None of this can slide. Hey, y'all. We got to talk about last night. And y'all can tell me about anything that y'all like literally had a problem with. And actually, like after I finish showing y'all what I'm about to show y'all, is this video that I'm gonna show y'all. Because this video that I'm gonna show you, come on up, Jen. Because yeah, this video I'm about to show, it really does explain what I'm about to get into when I start to treat these. Like when I really get into what I'm about to say about them. Um, I want y'all to see this video first though. Hey Mo, hey everybody, welcome. I y'all, yesterday that live was draining. What was like a 5 hour live full of lies, like lies. And in the moment, I didn't call it out, and then I let them like really get on my girl Anna. Like they really got on my girl Anna. And I'm listening back to what she said, and I'm like, she didn't even say nothing crazy. All she said was facts. Everything she said. And I'm gonna play back some of the stuff. And I like, because I don't know if I'm tripping. And I'll be like, what did she say that was crazy? Like, what did she say that was wrong? It's okay to say that black women is doing this, and a third, but when she talks about degenerate black men, it's a problem. I don't get it. I don't care what angry man, like you get out. Angry man is like irrelevant to me. Irrelevant. You see, I haven't even commented and or I'm not going to talk about him. Like, who the hell cares what he's saying? He is a perfect example of a black man who is angry, volatile, and violent. Like, why would you listen to him? He's the exact example of what we talk about. Like, so when we talk about how degenerate, violent, angry men, go to his page. That's exactly what you should. He's a living, breathing example of the type of men that Anna's talking about, the type of men that I'm talking about. Period. And if he's y'all representation of a black man that is like somebody that y'all want to follow and emulate, then that it tells us a lot about what happens, what's going on, and why black women should be afraid. Hey, April. Let me just play some of this video while I'm waiting on Jen, because when y'all see this video, like this man, and let me tell y'all something. Please share, keep sharing content with me. Hey, Nikki. Hey, y'all. I'm about to get into this treatment. Okay. And see, in Chicago, when we say treat, it means like we about to like really tear in their ass. You know, we about to really get in their ass. Like, I'm going to treat the out of these dudes who came on my panel talking crazy about black women yesterday. But we're going to talk about that later. I want y'all. Hey, Up-Leveled Approach. Hey, everybody. Let me play this video, because literally this video, y'all, it sums up how the hell I feel. And maybe y'all gonna receive it better because it's gonna come from a man, because literally I feel like Anna Licia said some of the same talking points that this man did. I want y'all to hear this. And yeah, I'm about to like play this. I'm gonna play this for y'all. Actually, let me escape because I don't want to cover up my screen too much. Get on here and talk about Brian Flores. Can y'all hear this? The weakness. Realize. Can y'all hear this? We've done the community a huge disservice. Just think about all the stuff that the men have started. Well, white people put the crack in the community. But who told you to? And then who told you to kill over it? You know, because we was killing to sell that crack. We was not only killing the women and making. Can y'all hear him? Because I really want to make sure y'all hear him. He said some real powerful stuff. Like, he about to get into why Anna and me and a lot of different women feel the way we feel about a large percentage of black men in our community. So I just want y'all to hear what he got to say. She said it's fading in and out. Is it? Okay, let me see. I'm gonna mute my stuff and see if y'all can hear. Michelle, keep me updated if it's still fading in and y'all can't hear nothing, huh? No sound? Okay, I gotta start this over because I need y'all to hear this. Let me see. I just want to get on here and talk about Brian Flores. Can y'all hear now? And the weakness of the men, the melanated men
of our community, I realized that
Yeah, it's playing. Can y'all hear it though?
we've done the community a huge disservice. Um, just think about all the stuff that the men have started that have been destructive for our community. Um, Somebody mentioned about, they said, well, white people put the crack in the community. But who told you to sell it? And who told you to smoke? Okay, what's up, baptized? Who told you to smell it? Smell it. Who told you to sell it? And who told you to smoke it? And then who told you to kill over it? Because we was killing to sell that crack. We was not only killing the women and making crack babies, but we was killing each other just to be able to sell the crack to the women, to destroy them, and then make crack babies. We did that. And then had the audacity to make music glorifying it. What's up, Navi? And then had the audacity to make some music glorifying it. I realized something, that our men are weak. They're weak. How is it that white people can put something bad in front of your face and you got to indulge in it, but when they show you something positive, you don't do it? White folks get married. Y'all don't do that. I'm speaking to the men. What's up, Mimi? White people get married. Y'all don't do that. White people start family businesses. Y'all don't do that. White people protect their communities. Y'all don't do that. So there's a lot of stuff that white people do that's positive that we don't emulate. We only seem to emulate the negative things that white people show us. So that lets me see that really we're choosing that. So I can't really blame the white people. Because they're giving us two choices. They're giving us two choices. We've done our community a disservice. We've done our women a disservice. We've done these children a disservice. And then out of all the stuff we've done, we have the audacity to make music that glorifies it. It's absolutely disgusting. When you just step back and look at it, it's disgusting.
Why can he see this but they can't? Do they, like, am I missing something? Why is it that this black man can see how they are not being held accountable for things happening, but then we sit up on these panels and blame black women for everything? Shout out to Up Level Approach. She's right. Watch them turn this around, put it on all black women. Well, y'all ain't have to take it. You didn't have to sell it either. And who made y'all kill each other? Because we didn't. Oh, but they will say that we made them. They will definitely say, oh, it's because y'all the ones that be instigating. Trust me, it's coming. But let me finish, because he making some good points. Wait till y'all hear what he really gets into it.
It's disgusting. I'm listening to Brian Flores, the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, and he hollering about racism. I look at the owner. Do y'all know that the owner of the Miami Dolphins had the blackest staff in the NFL? The head coach was black, the GM was black, the assistant GM was black, and the defensive coordinator was black. 4 top positions are black. And this man got the audacity to say this man is racist. He had the blackest staff in the NFL just for y'all to turn around and call him racist. So my question is, what is the incentive for these white folks to do right by you just for you to turn around and be woke and turn woke on them? I was disgusted. Y'all do realize that the NFL is mostly comprised of us. Not to mention how many of us are on the coaching staff, how many of us are on management, how many of us are in the front office. Like, we are literally all in the NFL, all over.
I know he's talking about some sports stuff, but don't worry about that, right? He about to get into what I really want y'all to hear. It's some stuff that's going on in the NFL. I don't care about that, but I want y'all to hear what he got to say.
That's right. They got paid to push a narrative. And this man is up here crying because Bill Belichick sent the wrong tweet out, which I don't believe happened. But at the end of the day, we all know how corporate America works. We all know how corporate America works. Corporate America, most of the interviews are done with formalities. They know who they want to hire. Y'all know this. Why is the NFL any different? We all know that in corporate America, most positions are already going to be filled by who they want to fill them with. The interviews are formalities. Then he snitched on the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He snitched and said he asked me to throw the games for $100,000 a game so that we could get a better draft pick slot. So basically in football, you might as well lose every game if you're not going to go to the playoffs. What he does is he had 3 seasons. Out of his 3 seasons, his record was below 500. He was not a good coach. I'm sorry. He wasn't. So based on his performance, he should have got let go. He had 3 years to turn the program around, and he did. Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. But he had 3 years to turn the program around, and he didn't. So you're telling me he gets to keep his job because he's black or because he's successful? They're painting a narrative like this guy sent the team and they won the Super Bowl. That's an absolute lie. They had a below 500 record under his coaching tutelage. Under his reign as head coach, they had a below 500 record. And on top of that, he threw Bill Belichick under the bus. And Bill Belichick made it to where he'd be able to be a head coach for the Miami Dolphins. So the 2 people that helped him out the most in his career, Bill Belichick and the owner for the Miami Dolphins, he studied on them just to be woke. And all the folks in our community gonna run with it because we so victimized. And it's really the men, though. It's really the men pushing this. I know this because on my page, it's always the men coming on my page crying. It's never the women. I said, why is what I'm...
Did y'all hear him say crying? Did y'all hear him say crying? But the moment and Alicia say, y'all crying, everybody want to jump down her throat. This man is saying the same thing that they come on his page crying as well. Well, he did. He jumping on them because he ain't right. So listen, because you so worried about Brian Flores. I ain't worried about Brian Flores. I'm worried about what he's saying address what he's saying about y'all black men and how y'all behave. Forget what he's saying about NFL. That's all his opinion. What about the state of our community? How about that? Y'all see, that's the thing. That's what happened with Anna yesterday. Y'all get so focused on what the hell her tone is like and how she cutting y'all off that y'all can't even listen to the content and what she's trying to tell y'all. Y'all just gonna stay in like he gonna tell you exactly what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna really just stay in the state that y'all in because y'all can't hear no feedback without getting pissed.
I'm saying not offending the women. Why is what I'm saying always offending the men? Why is what I'm saying always offending the melanated man? Why? Why is it always the men? What's up, Mark? It's always the men being offended by what I'm saying, but I realize something. It's because the men are weak. That's why. The men are weak, and the men are weak because they lack character. How do I share? You say hit the share button. How do I share? I don't know how to share. But I don't know how to share. But the men are weak. I'm not gonna lie. I used to sit back and look at these relationship dynamics in our community, and I used to be like, wait a minute, something ain't right. So I look to the women and look to the men. I would hear the men's side, Then I hear the women's side. And I say, well, you know what? The men's side is more logical than the woman's side. The woman's side is more emotional. The man's side is more logical. So naturally, I lean towards the logical man's side. But now as I sit back, though, I say, no, the men might be logical, but the men ain't got no character. So he may make sense, but when push comes to shove, he gonna fold like a cheap suit.
And y'all heard Anna say that yesterday. Remember, she said that the fundamental issue was that Black men lacked character. She talked about how they lacked that. And people was in such uproar. But here's this man, he don't know Anna, experiencing the very same thing, different circumstance, telling us the exact same thing. Maybe y'all gonna receive it better because it's coming from him. Maybe it's gonna be good. Maybe y'all will be all good. But that's fundamentally the problem. They think they have logic, because I don't really think they even have logic. I know he says that men have logic, whatever, but they have logic, but they lack any empathy, any character. So you can't really use your logic appropriately when you don't really have that. Here we go. We're gonna keep going.
So just because a man is logical doesn't mean that he's going to be ethical and have character and morality. It's not. Most of these men out here are weak. They're sensitive, they're emotional. Let me tell you my four destructive pillars for the Black community. Number one is that Black people on a whole are too emotional. Number two, Black men suffer from arrested development. They don't want to grow up. Number three, Black women lack humility. And number four, the Black children lack an identity. Now, we all know that we are not really Black. We are not really Black. But I'm using Black in terms, especially because it's Black History Month, as you all understand what I'm saying. But our people suffer from those four pillars. That is, too emotional. The men suffer from arrested development. The women suffer from lack of humility. And the children suffer from lack of identity. Now, the problem is, all of those four pillars may be present in one group. Every group has a bit of all those things in it. It's just one group has a dominant one. And for the men, it's arrested development. That means the men don't want to grow up. So why don't the men in our community want to grow up? I'll tell you, because the propaganda in our community is what? Mama runs everything. The women run everything. So naturally, in our community, the woman is already placed at the highest pinnacle place, and the men are usually placed down, maybe due to incarceration, maybe due to a lack of work ethic, maybe due to being a poor mate or father, or maybe they just plain sorry. I don't know. But in our community, our men don't want to grow up. And part of wanting to grow up and be an adult is assuming responsibility. A part of wanting to grow up and be a man is you want to leave a legacy. So a part of being a man is saying, I want to leave a legacy. I want to make my community better. I want to make my family better. I want to make my family name proud. I want to do something great. I want to change the world. I want to be who God made me to be. So all of those things are what a man should be telling himself. These are the things he should be telling himself every day to go out there and achieve. Our men don't say that. Our men want to look good. Our men want to get a bunch of women. Our men want to be the boss. But our men don't really want to leave a legacy. Our men don't really want to build a community up, and it's showing.
But they say that it's only us that notice it. It's only women. And we're wrong. We picking the Pookies and the Ray Rays. These fake ass Pookie and Ray Rays that they keep on trying to sell us, that we're picking some wrong dudes all the time. When Pookie and Ray Ray is just Mike and Tyrone that live next door. It's the man who live right next to you. Ain't no Pookie and no Ray Ray. That's it's a false narrative that they painting. Pookie is who that it's them. They are Pookie. and Ray Ray. If they want to paint anything, they are the ones that they're trying to paint. Ain't no, stop even believing them, y'all. Stop. Black women, don't even believe them. It's a Pookie and Ray Ray. Y'all choosing wrong. They all Pookie and Ray Rays. You see it. Yeah, I'm saying all. I'm saying all. I don't need to distinguish my husband. He ain't like y'all. None of y'all. None of them. He ain't. Period. I don't need to distinguish. I don't need to distinguish between. I know the difference between a man that's worthy and a man that's not. Y'all need to learn. So we just gonna say all. Because he ain't gonna be offended. Exactly. They refuse to grow up. Refuse.
Look at what the gangs have done. Look at what these artists do. Look at what the men do in our community when they get a leadership position. And then the ones that don't follow the script, we call them sellouts. We call them coons. Just look at the men that we praise. We praise Jay-Z. We praise him. We praise 50 Cent. We praise all these people who are literally puppets for the Jewish community. We praise them. We praise all the people that are puppets for white America, liberal white America, I might add. Puppets in the industry. These men that we praise and adore, they ain't calling no shots. These athletes, LeBron ain't calling no shots. Now, Heather said that welfare pushed the fathers out the home. Let me tell you something. If you a real man, how in the world could a government program get you out the house?
Now, Jen, didn't we say that the other day? How the hell did welfare remove you from your home? Are y'all kidding me? Like, they are so victimized that they really sit here and spread to Black women, make you guys feel guilty and tell you that accepting welfare kicked them out of their home. Keyword there, right? Because it probably wasn't their home. More than likely it was yours. Black women.
If you a real man, how in the world can a government program get you out the house when you got your children there? Let's just be honest. We didn't fight hard enough. Let's be honest. We didn't put up enough of a fight. Let's be honest. We didn't want the smoke. Ain't no way in the world somebody gonna separate me from my children, and I don't even have any children. I remember when I used to work with children, and I dare somebody try to do something to them children and say I couldn't do something. So we didn't fight hard enough. So I don't want no more excuses about no welfare, none of that stuff. Them all excuses. Because now we ain't doing it. Now when there's no system in place to get us out the house, we still aren't in the house. So I don't want no excuses. These men are weak, and it's disgusting. The men are weak, period. This man sitting up here talking about the NFL is racist, but you was a head coach for 3 years on the blackest staff in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins. Maybe you did a poor job. Maybe you didn't establish a culture, or maybe deep down inside, you felt like you didn't really deserve to be there. Because most of the men in our community suffer from arrested development because they don't feel good about themselves. They got low self-esteem. They listen to these Democrats and these woke Black folks their whole life telling them that they was oppressed. If they tell you that you're oppressed, that's going to create low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. You waking up every day and these folks is telling you that you weaker than another group of men. They tell you the Asian people don't believe that. The Hispanics don't believe that. No other race believes that except us. When them folks come to this country, they got one goal in mind, and that's to get it. We running around here crying, weak. Every day we complaining about something. Man, I lost my job because I didn't want to get the jab. Did I cry about it? Did I say my job was wrong? Did I curse the people there? Did I say they was racist?
Like, we still in the year 2022 still blaming the white man. Like, it's so frustrating. We still blaming the white man. He won't let me. If I try, he gonna stop me. I'm not gonna even try because I know he gonna destroy us like he did with the Black Wall Street. Come, like for real. How long are we gonna use these as excuses? Like, I'm so serious. It's getting to a place where it's kind of like we just gonna keep failing. And somebody in the chat yesterday was like, do you know that they're literally predicting that the black race will be completely eliminated in the year 2053? Like, completely eliminated. That is a prediction. That is something that sociologists and like other people have forecasted, and it's like expected that we're not going to be here because black women are not going to mate with you guys anymore. Like, they've already decreased birth in our communities, and we all know that we're more fertile than all other races. So the fact that our birth rates have declined is an indication that black women are deciding not to breed with you, not to partner with you. Let's just continue.
No, I didn't complain at all. Yeah, guess you know why I saw women in here? Because I realized something. The Bible says that the woman is the man's wisdom. So that means
I want y'all to listen to him, because he's basically saying why women are important, because you don't hear that in these spaces. You women, I'm talking to the women, y'all don't hear this in these spaces. But let me tell you, the brilliance, the wisdom, the love, the nurturing, the everything that y'all bring to these unbalanced, unmoral, unethical, because like seriously, you don't know how powerful you are. And when they tell y'all to choose better, y'all should damn listen. Y'all should fucking listen. If they're telling you to choose better, then that means they don't believe that they're the better. Hey, Haran.
Hey, what's popping?
How are you?
I'm good, man. You know, I saw your response to my comment earlier. I was like, oh, let me wake up. I know she about to drag me out here.
No, I'm not actually. I really, after this, I want to get into your thoughts about last night. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, sure.
So let's mute. I want to finish this video. This video is very short, guys. And please listen to my moderators, y'all. Click like, subscribe, share it. Please share the video, and please just listen, queens, listen, black women. Please, I can't wait for y'all to hear. But yeah, Haran, in a minute we're gonna get into some of Annalicia's points and everything. Let me keep this video going, y'all.
When the women are listening, that means it's some character being displayed. When the women are listening, that means there's some character being displayed. The woman is the physical manifestation of a man's wisdom. So yeah, to be all women in here, because I'm telling the truth. These men are weak and they're sensitive and they're cowards and they're afraid. I done heard so many black men, we in Black History Month, I done heard so many black men tell me what they can't do because of what some white person is not going to let them do. I'm like, who raised y'all? My bad, Jay Will.
Who raised them? You ain't no, they're not gonna let us do nothing. You have to take it. And Black women, we are competitive with every race of women. Look at our education rates. Look at our home ownership rates. Look at our entrepreneur rates. We don't mind getting in the ring and competing with any woman. We don't care her race. Black women are competing with women. They try to flip it and say we're competing with men. We are not. We are not competing with men. We don't have any interest in competing with men. What we do want to do, though, is compete with women. Oh, y'all getting education? Guess what? We can get education too. And at higher rates. And actually, we can go further. Oh, y'all want to be entrepreneurs? Guess what? Black women, we can be entrepreneurs as well. We got the skill. We got this. We're creating legacy and wealth in our families. That's what Black women are doing. We're competing with other races of women. So stop letting them tell you that we competing with men, because we are not. We never ever wanted to compete with men. We don't have no interest in competing with men, and we don't need to compete with them. What men are doing is they're not competing with other men. And they're asking you to step down so that they can look better to other races of men. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. If we step down, you guys need to rise up to the occasion, not ask us to step below you. That is ridiculous. Let's keep going.
Didn't mean to exclude you. My bad, Jay Will. My bad. There may be some men in here, but y'all get my point. Thank you, Navi. But y'all get my point. These men are weak. I've heard more Black men tell me what they couldn't do based on a hypothetical situation. Based on a hypothetical situation of what somebody white might do. So most of us are already defeated before we leave the house. So I listened to Brian Flores talking, and he talking about a text message that Bill Belichick tweeted. Bill Belichick had you on his staff for 15 years. You won 4 Super Bowls with the Patriots. You was on the staff for 15 years, and then he got you the head coaching job with the Miami Dolphins, and you threw him under the bus. You snitched. You snitched on the owner. Listen, you ain't got to throw the games, but you can't go snitch though. That ain't honorable. What that man told you was in private. That's the problem. That's why ain't no Black coaches. Because y'all too sensitive and emotional. That's why ain't no Black coaches, because y'all weak and y'all are soft. That's why. Not to mention, you got 1,000 white people applying for the job to be head coaches, and you may have 20 Black coaches. So the numbers ain't gonna never look right. Because quiet is kept, we don't try to be head coaches in the NFL because we believe the NFL is racist, even though we won't boycott it and we won't leave. Kaepernick said the NFL is like slavery, but he still wants to play in the NFL. I told you, they weak. They soft. They're weak and soft. What kind of double-minded man says the NFL is like slavery, but I still want to play in it, and we follow him? It's disgusting. That's the problem with the Black community. It's the men. It's the men. Because when the men get a position of power, this is what they do. They give y'all a poor example. They sell the women out, they sell the children out, and they sell the community out. You sitting there snitching on the owner. Snitching. That's why there can't be no Black head coaches. Because y'all too emotional. And you can't keep your mouth shut. That's why it can't be any Black head coaches. Because this is what y'all do. On the Blackest staff in the NFL, you holler racism. That's why there can't be no Black coaches. Because y'all don't have any honor. That's why. And everybody knows it. That y'all can be bought and sold very easily. All y'all can be bought and sold. Look at every movement we ever had. They all got compromised from the inside. And it was us selling us out. It wasn't the women. It was us. It was back in them days, the women was following the men. It was us. Them women looked and said, these men ain't about nothing. These men in here got a whole wife, but then sleeping with this one and that one ain't no honor. There's no woman that's going to respect you as a man if you sleeping around. She's not going to respect you because you don't have any discipline. And nobody respects anybody without discipline. No one respects an undisciplined person. Matter of fact, we only respect people that are disciplined. We only respect the people that are disciplined. So these men in these organizations all was whoremongers, sleeping around, and half of them was down low. Ain't no women finna follow that. That's what made feminism so appealing to our women, because the men were so sorry and trifling. That's what made it so appealing, because the women was like, if I'm gonna submit to this, I'd rather go on my own. I don't blame y'all. It's disgusting. I'm watching these men now. I'm watching these folks tell me the NFL's like slavery. So that would mean that that Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and then 50 Cent hanging like a strange fruit coming out the roof was a minstrel show. And then you got Eminem capping it off with a kneel. Still got the white man above you. They let Eminem steal the show with a fake kneel. Still. I don't have any sympathy for any of it. It's disgusting. And that's the problem. Talking about the NFL is racist, and the majority of the players are black. All them black coaches, all them black players, all them black trainers, all them black folks in the office, and the NFL is racist. NFL might be the most diverse company in the world. Oh, but y'all want to see some black owners and head coaches. You know why? Because y'all just want to be seen. Y'all don't care about the data, statistics. Y'all just want to be seen. Y'all just want to be seen. Hope this live is still going. Hope this live is still going.
I think he said mostly what I want him to say or what I needed him to say. Hey, Jen.
Hi.
You like, I had to start it off with, because maybe they don't hear it. I feel like we say stuff very similar, but we get backlash when we say it. But maybe they'd hear it differently if it came from another brother that see, and he talking about the NFL, but he got into how they ain't marrying us and how they don't got no character, no morals, all the things that Annalicia say that we damn near want to kill her for, that they want to, that they in the comments calling her lesbians and all kinds of stuff just because she's saying the truth. Hi, Rush. I'm sorry, but this was a closed panel today. I really only put the link in the chat for Haran. I'm not really opening up the panel. It's just me, Jen, and Haran. I am not opening up the panel today.
Who's Rush?
I'm not sure who that is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rush, but I'm not opening it up. If you know my people, you know, y'all message me. My people who got my number, my people who know me, y'all message me if y'all got something to say. But everybody else, not today. Y'all know that live irritated me yesterday. Haran.
Hey, what's good?
Hey, you know, Haran. So the way people came at Annalicia yesterday, I really want you to like talk about your comment, because I was gonna display your comment if you weren't on here, but since you on here, I'm gonna give you the floor and kind of let you go through and talk about some of the things that you wanted to talk about.
All right, I'll talk around. I'll just run down the gamut of pretty much everything. One of the first things that I want to talk about, and kind of piggybacking off of the video that you just showed, and this is in regards to black men. and just black people in general in America, honestly. But we can we point the spotlight on black men. Now, one of the issues that I have with a lot of these talks is that usually when see, I'm from New York. We
You're
have a problem. If we have a problem, then it's like, okay, you want to talk or you want to talk real. It's two different things. We can sit here and talk. We can go back and forth. We can point fingers. Or do you want to talk real? Do you want the real uncomfortable conversations? The stuff that hurts people's feelings. The shit that makes or breaks relationships, makes or breaks people. Now, I'm going to get into something that is not often discussed, but I think we should discuss and consider. I explained before previously that I'm from West Indian lineage, Jamaican in particular, and to be clear, there is a class system in Jamaica, as there is a class system in any society. Where you see human beings, there is a class system. Even in your family, yeah, there's a hierarchy. Somebody's mama's favorite, and somebody knows who isn't necessary. You know what I mean? Who isn't necessarily liked. But anyway, be that as it may, in Jamaica, yes, there is a class system. The difference is that okay, and I come from a very poor family in Jamaica. I'm talking about poor. I'm talking shanty town. You wore shoes on the weekend, going to church only, like the little things that are taken for granted here in America. These things are luxuries in Jamaica. Now, the one of the essential differences with Jamaicans and other immigrants is that where you're from, if there's a class system, the person who's in a higher class than you, that person still looks like you. So in your mind, you're saying, oh, okay, so the only variable and the only real difference, honestly, between me and this person is money,
Money. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is, opportunities, so on and so forth. So a lot of West Indians, they immediately think, oh, yeah, opportunity. Well, where's the best place to maximize opportunities if I really want to go up the ladder? America. Okay. So these hardworking immigrants, they come to America and they're already conditioned to kick ass because they don't have self-esteem issues. In America, it's completely different. Black people, black men in general, the moment they wake up, most of the time, everybody else in a better situation doesn't look like them. And they're told that they're subhuman. They're told they'll never be shit. They're told, they're beaten down psychologically to the point where even if they don't talk about it, a lot of them believe it. When I was raised in a home, I was literally told by my mother, no one's better than you. Period. You don't leave this home, believing that anyone is better than you. You can fail, you can do whatever, but we don't give up. Failure is allowed, but quitting is not. Now, I say that to say, I'm not making any excuses for the brothers because we can also get into the psychological damage that has been done to black women in terms of their self-esteem by way of, especially particularly in the 70s and 80s with the explosion of, white supermodels and them seeing all these women that don't look like them and they're being told that they are the apex of beauty. and black and brown women are told that they are scourges, Jezebels, and only good to, for being concubines. That's another situation. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, to that particular point, there's a lot of psychological damage going on. Now, a lot of it also stems from slavery. There are abandonment issues that black women hold from, the days of slavery because a lot of them feel that black men did not do enough.
You think that we still okay? So are you saying that pretty
There's
much
a repeat.
our family is passing down
Yes,
these types of
these are
things? Because
generational
I mean,
traumas.
obviously, slavery is not a factor for most of us.
No, absolutely not.
We've been dealing with the impacts maybe of racism because we were enslaved, but
Hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? I want
I
to get
understand
to,
totally what you're
I
saying.
want to get to this I want to get to, but I want you to talk about your point. I want you to
I'm almost done.
talk about it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Almost done. Now, when I'm saying abandonment issues, a lot of it also stems from what's going on right now. A lot of black women are upset right now because they feel that black men are abandoning their posts. They're abandoning their children. They're
Mhm.
abandoning their role as leaders. So again, that in itself, I don't want to get too deep in it, but that in itself is a bit of a multi-layered issue, and just holds well just for its own show. Anyway, getting into what I saw yesterday in terms of how Anna was treated and how I've seen just Anna treated, in a lot of spaces. I've grown real tired of it transforming into this 2 to 3 hour diatribe of figuring out how can we police Annalise's tone. I don't understand, why. Like we could be having a very good, somewhat of a, logical convo before that. Some good points being made. And the moment she shows up, it's like all scopes are on. Here comes the night vision. Here comes everything. Blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. And we all have to basically attack this woman like a mongrel. Like what is that? Like what the fuck is that? I saw an angry mob forming in the chat last night. It was disturbing. It was disturbing. I'm like, wow, this so so pretty little 100-pound girl from Canada really got you niggas in your feelings like that? Like that's really what we doing? And yeah, tell her what you need to know. Like, huh? Like y'all rooting dudes on because she needs to be put in her place and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Like, okay, okay, at some point in time, we clearly lost focus of the issue. And it really became something about like, yeah, let's beat down on this girl who's saying this stuff that we don't like. And we want her out of here. Don't bring her into, what I mean, you know what I mean, on the panel and so on and so forth. Look, listen, I'm a firm believer in that everyone should have a seat on the panel. That's the one thing that we all need to really, really get cool with and really need to, chill with in this community if we really are trying to get to the space that we're trying to get to. Everyone's not going to disagree. Everybody's not going to have the style that, sits well with you. Okay, cool. But you show up for work, right? You like everybody at your job. Bob in marketing annoys the fuck out of you, right? But you still show up, right? You still show up because at the end of the day, hey, you got bills, you got shit to do. So Bob in marketing and his little, whatever he's got going on over there, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And that is the overall point that I'm trying to make. Annalisa's tone and the way she's making you feel doesn't matter. And if you were really logical, you'd see that. See, the problem is that a lot of people really aren't half as logical as they think they are. Okay, I'm an engineer and a mathematician. All right. The degree of I have to force myself from logic most of the time in order to arrive to a particular solution that makes sense for the overall goal.
Right.
That's literally my job. If I don't do that, then if I cling to some sort of technology that I really like this technology and it's so cool and blah blah blah. If I cling to this thing and it's not prudent for the project, then guess what? I end up, probably, putting something in production. It gets released, and it costs the company a whole bunch of fucking billions of fucking dollars because it works clunky. It's a piece of shit. And then guess what? They're going to be like, hey, who did this? Ron did it. He made that decision. Well, why the fuck did you decide that? Well, I kind of really like that, that new techno thing. It kind of really spun well for me. Why didn't you use the other thing? You know what? You got a point. Yeah. Yeah, it was the more logical, direction to go into. Now, the snarkiness, the need to, make someone submit, the need to, first of all, like, look, if you know she's going to be up here, okay, and she's not really your thing, why the fuck are you coming up here?
Thank you.
Is this some sort of BDSM masochistic thing that you're into? Like, what do you want to be punished? You know what I mean? I'm not shaming if that's your thing. Like, okay, but hey, we all like Dave Chappelle said, everybody fucks funny to somebody. But you know what I mean? If that's your shit, hey, that's your shit. But you know what I mean? Don't put this on this girl, man. Look, I can recall times, and she probably can't because she's argued with a jillion fucking people. But I've actually got into an argument with Jen on Facebook before. I mean, we were going back and forth or whatever. You know what I mean? She said some slick shit to me. I said some slick shit back. I wasn't I'm going to friend this woman. Like, what the fuck?
He hated me. He's keeping it light, but he hated me. And me, I'm like,
I had some disdain for you. However,
okay.
My opinions of her changed once she really dug down into her YouTube channel. And I started hearing her, and I started seeing her, and I'm like, oh, okay, she's really a nice person. Because it's kind of hard when you're on social media and you're going back and forth with people. You can't really hear context. You know what I mean? You probably could be in the middle of something, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But when you actually sit down and have a conversation with someone and you really, step away from, your previous ideas about them, then you can say, oh, okay, I see what this person, where this person is. I understand that. And I agree with that. Okay, yeah, I'm cool. I honestly think and honestly believe that, my boys and I, we have a thing about this. If you really want to de-escalate a situation between two men, get them in a room together alone. Because now it's just you and me. There's nobody here to, showcase for. There's no reason for you to protect your ego. Whatever story that, you want to tell. Nobody needs to have a story to be told when we leave this room. It could just be in the room and leave, once we get out of here. See, the problem is a lot of times is that, and Anna could be saying these things. She is saying some things that are poignant, that are true, but they're embarrassing. And these brothers are in front of people.
It's embarrassing.
So now it becomes an ego thing. I have yet to get into an argument with Anna. I don't get into an argument with Anna. I don't. You know what I mean? We've had actually, you know, I don't think that she was given enough credit for actually. She had a show where she actually really, you can see that she was really trying to really understand how her approach was, rubbing people the wrong way. And when she did that, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of gutsy. I don't see too many people because I mean, in social media, let's just keep it real. Whatever stance you take, as idiotic or as fucked up as it might be, or if you're right, you're supposed to die on that fucking hill. You're not supposed to say sorry. You're not supposed to, what I mean, be like, you know what, my bad. You have a point. I just see it
Wait.
like
Is
that.
that the rule? Because I need to know that. Because like that's the
Oh
rule,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
You
Social
just like
media.
you fall on your own sword, right? You don't let nobody
Yeah,
tell
that's
you
it. That's it. Like you are literally a Japanese samurai. These are your protocols. This is what it is. Logic be damned.
wait.
And
Hold the phone.
Cash App break. Cash App break. Somebody wants to donate to Wanna. It's the Cash App is scrolling on the bottom right there, Reese.
Thank you, Reese. It is $ Wana 12. Wana 12 because 12 December is my birthday.
December what?
December 8th.
Okay.
December 8th. The day I started this channel.
Nice.
December 8th. Thank you, Reese from Philly. So they come after her from some sick fixation on attacking and defeating women. What exactly?
I've seen it.
Let me jump in on that.
I wanted to say something about Jen's shirt because I love your fucking shirt. I was like,
I wear my girl power shirt.
I love it. I'm a Sagittarius. I am a Sagittarius. Yes, L Doctrine. I am true to that whole thing. Yes, my moderator put my Cash App in the chat, you guys. Hey, Headhunter. You actually, you're welcome to come up if you want, because I know you also have a perspective on how Anna Licia was treated, and I'm actually gonna play some clips.
What's going on, Head?
Yeah, I'm gonna play some clips, like, because I want us to actually talk about the clips. But yeah, I like where you're going so far, Haran, because it really just is a reflection of how Black men and she talked about how they respond to her. And that doesn't really deter them. They still respond that way. And it's even people in the comments kind of justifying that response. Oh, I know educated people who respond the same way. Okay, they're degenerates too. It doesn't matter if they're educated, it doesn't matter what their title is. If you don't know how to respond to, like, if you don't know how to have a conversation and communicate with someone who has a different opinion of you, you are a psycho. Yeah, you're a psycho. So don't sit here and try to be like, oh, because he's got a master's degree. They have psych. Do you know that there was a professor who like killed one of his students? Like in some sexy sex slave fantasy thing that he was recreating. There's psychos in every socioeconomic status and class. So don't sit here and try to justify somebody and say, oh, because he got $1 million, he not a damn weirdo. That's them. They may be definitely the most weirdos in those communities. Sorry, y'all. People texting me. Yeah. So like, stop it. Because y'all about to make me go off on you in these comments saying stupid stuff.
I wanted to
Go ahead, Jen.
Ishmael is here. What's up, Ish? I wanted to jump in on what the guy was saying in the video, because I mean, it's what I've said verbatim. Okay. Like, sometimes on social media, I'm like, I used to be like super militant. Like, I hate Whitey, kill Whitey. I used to be really, really bad. And then I calmed down because they kept throwing me in Facebook jail or whatever. And the thing that, just to stay on the topic of him, speaking of Black men, it's a lot of what Haran said. It's also in general what you said, Juana, and what Annalicia says. They don't want critique. Their ego kicks in. I really started this sarcastically, right? Because people will get offended if I said something, they will automatically personalize it. So with Annalicia, she's a woman, her tone. With me, she's Latin. She don't know about the Black community. You know, white people, well, it's oppression. They're racist. So it's like no one, they think they're beyond reproach. No one can tell them anything ever, right? And I've always been in those situations like Annalicia, which I can, you know, and I hate this being like dissection of Annalicia, but I just think it's a great case study because it is what happens to women in these spaces with men, right? Who want to divert from what the issue is. And I think it's a very, very easy thing to do, to target women you don't get along with and go out and fight the real enemy, right? Because that's what you're really afraid to do. So it's easier for you to fight me, to fight Alicia, when we're telling you what we think you should do or what we think is wrong. It's much easier. It's much easier because it's like, well, I can beat her. And then when they find out they can't beat us, then they get vitriolic. Because what they get with us is a surprise. Like, she's a woman, she has a vagina, I'm gonna tear her down. And then you realize we fillet you, and then you get vitriolic, and then you're doing 4 or 5 hour streams about how we're old and we can't get men and we're single because you couldn't win. So, you know, and I'll show you an example. When Annalicia first was on that other channel, a lot of people were tagging me. A lot of people were coming to my channel tagging her name. And that's how I was introduced to Annalicia. They was like, oh, there's this girl that's on such and such a page. You know, you need to debate her and blah, blah. They were literally telling me, men, not women, not one woman. Not one woman came to my channel and told me I should debate Annalicia. And there are a lot of women on the channel I'm talking about, but not one woman came to me to tell me about her existence, about her tone, about I should debate her. It was men. And I'm telling you, it was more than one. If I say it was one, I'd be like, it was more than one. So I'm like, that was my introduction to her. And I was like, okay, who is she? I went to her page, I checked her out, because of course you're going to be curious if everybody's throwing a name at you.
That's right.
I went and I was like, here's the problem. I agree with everything she's saying.
Yeah. So
I don't know why you're throwing me into the pot that I should debate her. Maybe because they feel like I'm a strong person too, and it'll be a great, but I'm like, I agree with everything she's saying. So what are you guys talking about? But just the mere fact that they even wanted a woman to go battle another woman because they felt the ways, because they felt like they couldn't beat her. And I'm like, so what I'm hearing you say, man, is I can't beat her, so let me go grab somebody I think could. So therein lies the problem, that they'd rather see us fight. Not only that, but they'd rather fight us than fight the system. Where's that same energy? Keep that same energy. And what he said,
same energy.
What he said about the NFL and Kaepernick, I've said that over and over again on my social media. People say, you're not Black, you're Latina. What do you know? I'm like, how the okay? Can you want to be a part of something that you are complaining about? Do you know that's insanity?
It's weird.
It's insanity. Like, you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. When Kaepernick lost me, because I was all with it. I was like, I got to get the jersey and I got to post them on my social media.
Let's kneel. Let's do it all, right?
I need it. And then when I heard that he was trying to play again, I was like, I tore that t-shirt off. I was like, you mother. So all of this for nothing, all for naught. So it's like, who can we depend on? And when people say, there was this other chick on that other channel who was trying to tell me about, not being able to have a voice in her community. And I was like, I'm sorry, bitch, but what community? Because it's my community, okay? I am not a Caucasian. All right. I don't identify as Black, but I am an Afro-Latina. Therefore, I'm under the same oppression boot. Okay. My entire family is Black and Latin. I live in a Black and Latin world. I only date Black men. So you're not about to tell me that I can't speak on Black men. When since the age of 17.
Why wouldn't you be able to speak? Like, what are they talking about?
Since the age of 17, that's all I've known.
Like, of course you can speak on, your daddy is a Black man.
Okay, exactly. But it's like, there's not a Latin man on this planet that can tell you, oh yeah, I've been with her. Or a white man that can tell you, yeah, I've been with her. And yes, I wear that as a fucking badge of honor because I've never been with white guys. Sorry, that's a whole different show. But I'm like, how dare you fix your face to tell me when I have fought in these communities, when I've been a philanthropist in these communities, when I've dated and married in these communities, when I've had children in these communities, how dare you tell me that I can't speak on this community? When there's been blood, sweat, and tears from me in this community, who are you, because you wear a turban or a dashiki, going to tell me that I can't speak on our community? So it incenses me. It just drives me up a wall, right? So I understood Annalicia, and going back to what Haran said, I'll throw it back to you guys because this is my subject, so I'll be preaching up here. But what Haran said, when Annalicia was first on my channel, the chat blew up to the point where it was distracting, because I was looking at the panel and trying to speak and then looking at the chat, and there was a mob forming for this woman, like Haran said, in my chat, and it was men. I say again, it was men. The women were chiming in and they were looking and they were commenting the way we always do, but it was men, okay? And I had to stop. If you guys remember that stream, I had to stop the entire panel and said, you motherfuckers have been talking about this woman for the past hour. Yep. She's not going to change her tone. She's not going to change her opinion. What good does it do for you to be calling her out of her name for the past hour? You sound as crazy as you're trying to make her. It was ridiculous. Like, fine, don't agree. We could be on panels that, I've left panels where I was like, I don't dig you at all. And then there are other panels where I'm like, you're not going to chase me away. I just won't interact with you. But for me to sit there and incite a mob to help me out, to go against a woman, is pathetic. And if men, Black men especially, if they don't see that that is pathetic, how the hell is there ever going to be a next level for us in this community, right? That we talk about so much, that we want to be better. So I understand Annalicia when she's like, I give up, it's whatever. And I even said, I understand her frustration, because we are looking for men to lead. We are pining for men to lead. And now it's to the point where it's like, we give up. We give up. You can have it. You can have the degenerative culture. You can have the degenerative music. You can't even correct people. I've corrected people's grammar. Oh, this is just Facebook. I'm like, I'm trying to make you better, motherfucker. Like, there's a whole world out there that you have to go up against. I'm trying to make you better. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. Like, and then the thing he was saying about the mothers are automatically the leaders in our communities. True. And women, Black women and Latin women, we automatically from birth, we step into those shoes. I'm Big Mama. I'm a grandmother now. And I'm already feeling like I'm Big Mama. I run shit. I say who stays and who goes. Right. Where did I get that from? Where did I get that idea from? So it's like we step into those roles and we adore and revere the Big Mama. Where's the Big Papa? Where's the Big Papa? So I can completely relate to what she's been through. I've had mobs against me because I was Latina. I'm not supposed to be talking about Black. People are still coming to my channel saying, you can't talk about us. I'm like, who's us? You dumb bitch. I am us.
Right. Like what
I am us.
Why can't you? At this point, a white woman can talk about us. Like, what? Who are we to censor anybody from making observations about our community? Like, that's the reason why we in the predicament we in, because we don't want no outside accountability. We don't want nobody else to critique us. We don't want nobody else to give their opinion. But people have eyes. They see stuff that's going on. We don't want to validate nobody else's opinion but our own.
Just like everyone else, when I hear, I'll be home. I hear something on the news. I still say, I hope he wasn't Black.
Me too.
I still do that. I hope he wasn't Black. I don't even say I hope he was in Latin. I say I hope he was in Black, because they're gonna make it than it is. They're gonna make it a bigger deal than it is. They're gonna make us look a certain way. I still say that. It's crazy to me that it's like, if you're beyond reproach, how are you gonna get better? So it's like you have to wash your hands of it. You have to wash your hands of it, because no one will listen. And it's like, and what I noticed on your panel that happened, and even on mine with Annalicia, is a lot of people who usually claim to be, well, I'm this and I don't do that and I don't argue with women and I'm this, that, and the third. All they needed was a little nudge from her and boom. I was like, wait, this is the same guy that's always preaching that he doesn't argue with women or he doesn't raise his voice. It just takes a little nudge because in reality, and at least it's just a little nudge. You don't know her personally. You're not dating her. She's not your wife. She's not your baby mama. I'd be damned if someone's going to push me to that level. And I'm not breaking bread with you. I'm not in business with you. Now you fuck with my money. That's a whole different situation.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm like, and this is why I did this, because this is how stupid, okay, y'all should feel that I have to say this, because if it doesn't apply, like Annalicia says, let it fly. And I've said over and over and over again, you can say Puerto Rican women are hoes. Puerto Rican women just, they're on welfare. Puerto Rican women just have babies. What does that have to do with me?
Right. Like,
what does that have to do with me? I don't have to.
Who cares? Who cares?
I don't have to personalize that.
Right.
And these men personalize her opinion, and they personalize it muchly. Muchly. Like she slapped them in the face, like they have a baby in common with her. It is pathetic. It's pathetic to watch. So I agree with Haran. It's disturbing. It's disturbing to watch. This is a woman who obviously cares about her community, because when you don't care, you're like, you'd be like a white woman, like, oh my God, is that what you guys do there? That's terrible.
Why even speak on it? If it's not even a concern for you, why even speak on it? Right? Like you can't even have a positive conversation with most Black men in these spaces. How is it that Haran, he listened to the entire thing, heard everything she said, and came into it with a clear perspective that's in support of this woman who y'all all going after? And even in the comments, they was talking about her personal life, talking about who her baby daddy. Who cares? What does that have to do with what she's saying? Are y'all killing each other or not?
It's just easier. It's like, it's what we've heard before, that it's easier to come home and attack someone that looks like you. Meanwhile, your boss is running you at the job.
Like you still oppressed.
What to do, how to do it. And you don't care that he's, sliding in a cow on the weekend. His life doesn't matter to you, but you're subordinate to him. But it's easy. We're easy targets. We're easy targets. And I always tell them, do you have the same energy? Because I always tell people, I'm like, David Duke is still popping. He's still popping. He's ready for you to go over there and pop this shit. The way you attack Annalicia, the way you attack me, why don't you go attack David Duke and them? If white supremacy is the issue, if you standing on your square, why don't you go over there? Because that's where the real problem is. Why don't you keep the same energy and start building schools and hospitals? Shout out to the NOI and the Black Panther Party and the Young Lords.
Right. Where's
that energy? This vitriolic energy. These dudes talk like they want to kill us.
Like seriously.
Like
they literally would. They probably would try to.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
I know for sure. I got my conceal and carry. I don't know about you, Jen, but they would try, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, what exactly are you accomplishing by trying to threaten me? Are you still gonna be killing each other on the streets? Because after y'all finish threatening me, Black people are still dying at the hands of our own people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we still got baby mamas out here, and we still got deadbeat absentee fathers. So what exactly is threatening me going to do? If I'm speaking on an issue and you disagree, how about this? Why don't you dispute it with your theories, explanation, stats, whatever it is that you come with? Why don't you just be like, hey, that's not true. This is what I observe. I don't get it. What is so hard about that? Let me give a shout out to Fred for the Cash App and Reese from Philly. I received them. Thank you guys so much. I did receive it. Yes, Reese. I got it.
Open up the wallets, because we preaching today.
Open it up.
Yo, Reese, what's going on, big homie?
Yes, Reese.
And let me tell you something.
Let me shout out the Beta Bill. He is really saying some good stuff. I appreciate what you're saying.
I'm gonna start looking through the comments now, because
I appreciate the things that I've been reading everything. I've been highlighting his comments. And he's absolutely right. I know he's been on being attacked on panels, and you understand that. I think that it's even weirder when it's men who are like attacking women based on her opinion. And I mean, I want to play just like a video. I want to play like Annalicia, one of her talking points. And I really just want to know, like, why was it such a big deal? Like, that's the main thing. I'm like, okay, so what exactly did she say that really caused? Maybe y'all can see something. I don't know. We're gonna play this. Maybe it was like something she said. That real quick, yeah. I understand.
A lot of arguments come from, even with the show that you was on. That's where a lot of disrespect comes from, because people feel as though they're not being heard because people are just cutting in. They're just hearing just to say something.
Policing.
Oh, I heard you, but listen to what I'm saying.
Policing her tone.
You gotta also remember, it's like 10 people on panels. Sometimes it's hard. You're gonna get cut off here and there.
It's called patience.
Yeah, but you're gonna get cut off though. So let Information Man talk before Annalicia.
Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night.
Okay. Annalicia, since he's leaving, I want you to respond though, because I want you to be able to speak to that point, and then Information Man, I'll let you speak. But go ahead. What do you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, honey. You look good. You got on black today.
You do.
Yeah.
I love that lipstick. You have to tell me where you got it.
I will.
You look good. I like that shirt, the see-through. Okay, Juana.
I'm trying to bring my sexy Sunday. Remember sexy Sunday.
Hey, Freezy, I like your shirt, man. I like your shirt, Freezy.
Hey, Black Man Unfiltered. We can't hear nothing.
Yeah, Wanda.
I'm sorry. I muted it. I'm sorry.
You could laugh. You could laugh over me sort of maniacally while I'm trying to get a sentence out. To me, that's disrespectful. It's undermining. And to me, it's worse than saying, hey, I don't like you. I would prefer someone who doesn't like me to say, hey, I don't like you, rather than, sort of having these juvenile flings here and there, laughing over me, cutting me off, going crazy in the chat box, rather than just having a conversation with me. So when I get on, my introduction to YouTube was brutal. It was bad. I took that experience. I said, okay, I learned a couple of things from it, but more or less, I decided on my channel, I'm trying to build a community, right? And I'm like, you know what? I can't let that color my world. I have to stick to my objective. And at the time, my objective was mental health. It was trauma informed, and it was community-based, community-oriented. That was my whole goal. So it's funny to see where I am now versus where I started out. But when I get on panels, specifically with Black men, and I'm saying Black men because I haven't had this issue with other groups of men. That's just a fact. But specifically with Black men, Black men will try to disqualify you before they try to disqualify you, right? We could be having a broad conversation. And the first thing they want to know is, yeah, well, are you married? Because for them, that's a bad signal. It's like, oh, she's not married. Yeah. Right? That's already a form of exploitation, right? So you don't have to make money, but you can still exploit a woman, what they would deem as a vulnerability, what they would deem as a weakness, what they would deem as something that's undesirable, right? So that's the first thing that Black men are going to come on panels and, okay, but so are you married? Right? So that's the first thing. Yesterday, when it comes to, and this I'm saying, like, real men just own it. Just own it. Just say, hey, I don't like her. She and I don't get along, because that's okay. That I can identify with. That's okay with me. Some people I'm going to gravitate towards. Juana, I don't have a problem with you. There are other feminists. I love feminists. There are intellectuals in this space that I absolutely adore, and I would never disrespect them. But there are people that, again, we don't get along. We're never going to come to a consensus. We're not going to have a meeting of the mind, and that's also okay. Agreeing to disagree is okay.
So here's the thing, y'all. What did she say that was so wrong? Like, she's like trying to come to some kind of compromise. Like, hey, I'm okay with y'all not really liking me, but let's just talk about whatever the issue is. She's trying to be as respectful as possible, and it's really bothering people that she said, I think she said something about how, I don't remember exactly what she said. It was like one little sentence that she said. They were like, look, she's criticizing us. Oh, look, she's talking about Black men. I mean, I'm just saying, did y'all see, what am I missing here? What did exactly did she say?
Um, I think one of the main issues with Anna, and this goes in tandem with the obsession, and I'm gonna call it an obsession because that's exactly what it fucking is. The obsession with her tone is that the obsession and the emotional drive and the adrenaline rush. Yes, the adrenaline rush that is affecting your hypothalamus. This is one of the reasons why it is not good to try to engage in logical conversation when you are angry, because you are filled with emotion and it shuts down your logical pathways. Anyway, whenever she spoke, when she was on the other channel, firstly, when I first saw her, I was like, wow. First of all, I was like, wow, this woman is brilliant. I was like, oh yeah, she's a bit much. Okay. I was like, whoa, she's going in. And that was one of the points where it was just like she started talking over people and blah blah blah. She started really going in. And then I stepped back for a second. I was like, hold up. I kind of like this. I kind of like this. Because now people are being exposed. Now you see people really acting like their true selves. Now you see who's really who they say they are when a little bit of pressure is applied to your back. We really see now, oh no, you weren't that guy. You were that guy. And I always suspected some people were, because I'll be honest with you, man. I was in the chat the first time her debut on that other channel. Man, I saw cats. They was kind of like, you know, they was kind of high off the fact that she looked good, and they was gonna holler, blah blah blah. Even though she was saying some things that were just really kind of out there, that if anybody else said it, they would have been, you know what I mean, down their neck. But it was like, yeah, you know what I mean, nah, you know what I mean, it's like nah. Give her a chance to speak. I'm like, oh, okay. But once she also put out there that she wasn't really here for all that, relationship shit, then the temperature changed again. Like, oh, she's a bitch now. She's all these horrible things now.
What is their obsession with women in these spaces who speak out? Why you said it's the embarrassment.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the overall point. Okay, ladies. If the pipes burst in your house and there was water everywhere, and you called me up and you said, "Heron, there's water everywhere. I need you to come down here with some equipment to make sure that we fix this problem." Blah blah blah. I'm like, sure. And you know what I mean, Warner, I'm on it. Jen, I'm on it. I'll take care of it. I'll be there in a jiffy. And I show up with a red cup, and the place is flooded with nothing but water. How y'all gonna look at me? Y'all gonna be like, wait a minute, you saw this mass problem. I communicated to you this mass horrible fucking problem, and you thought the best way to prove that I'm solving the problem is to show up with a red cup and we're surrounded in water and we're damn near about to drown. Right? You look at me like I was a complete fucking idiot, right? So let's relate this to Anna's point. If she says collectively, as a group, we are drowning, and dudes show up and say that, well, yeah, no, it's not that bad, and they show up at that one or two black guys that are doing good out of like 10,000. What does that really mean? What does that matter? Those two guys out of 30 are not going to move the fucking needle in a space of people that are already a minority. What she is saying is that She's not discrediting the fact that there are black men out there that are putting in the work. She's merely saying you just need more. You need to show up with more than a red cup and we're drowning. That's what I heard. Because I'm completely divorced from my emotions when someone is speaking. And when I sit back, like, oh, okay, that's all she's saying. Like she had another point.
I gotta jump in real quick because on your point is hilarious. What you hear is the black man invented the light bulb. No,
that was actually said. Like that was actually said.
That's the rebuttal. I'm like,
true.
do you not see our communities? Do you not see? He invented the heart valve. I was like,
yeah, he
do you
did.
not see our communities?
Invented rap too. So we can go back and forth all day. And then get paid for it. So, so we can go back and forth all day. You know what I mean? About what was done.
Popcorn. I like popcorn.
We can go back and forth, all day. You know what I mean? A black man invented the traffic light. Wonderful. We did all these wonderful, incredible things. Why are we still fucked up right now, though? Can someone answer that question?
That's
not talking about
that's what I'm saying.
Someone
That's
did
the point.
100 years ago. I'm not talking about what someone, okay, with all this brilliance, with all these achievements and so on and so forth. Why are we still at the bottom of the food chain? And
thank you, Joshua. I'm sorry. Thank you, Joshua Jones. I got your Cash App. Thank you so much. Y'all showing out today. All right. Y'all showing out. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate it.
And one of the biggest points that I was telling Anna, and she thought I was a little cruel when I said it, and I've said it to you guys before, and I truly mean it, is that look, and Tristan shares my, ideas on it. I threw Tristan in there. So y'all don't think I'm like a complete sociopath. But anyway, I said that we should concentrate. Okay, here's the equation. If you concentrate on the higher achievers, guys going to college, guys who are engineers, guys who actually have the resources to build community. If you concentrate on those guys first, that's the first thing. Now, the second thing that you want to do is you want to concentrate on the youth. You want to get them into, into careers and so on and so forth that can actually build, they can build families with, they can build wealth with, so on and so forth. Teach them about 401ks and so on and so forth. Teach them how to be responsible, well-functioning adults and pillars in their community. So you concentrate on on the high performers, and you concentrate on the kids. Right. Leave the underperformers out to die on the vine. We do not have the time, patience, or money to actually put into trying to convince them why a particular, salary range isn't necessarily effective.
Right.
If you are trying to build a family, build community, and yeah, it's great you guys, have all that stuff, but if we really want to talking about generational wealth, another thing you want to do is that you want to have enough kids that represent your tax bracket. If you're not making a certain amount of money, you shouldn't be having a gang of kids, man. Because it's just it really shouldn't, be happening. Now, if we do those things, and if we make it something that is cultural, and we do it, by repetition, then what happens, to Anna's point, is that the collective that she's talking about changes. Because now there's more and better options to go around. A lot of times these women choose these dudes, or pick better. Well, a lot of times these women choose these dudes that you say they shouldn't pick because, well, they're in close proximity to them. They might not be in the circles to actually choose the dudes that you're speaking about. Now, if the men, in their proximity were more on point, then we can have different conversations. and the onus is put on, you know what I mean, those who should ensure that there's better options. Because when there's better options, you choose better.
That's why I hate the whole Pookie and Ray Ray argument. I'm like, ain't no Pookie and Ray Ray. That's Mike and Tyrone. It's just put any name in there. It ain't no Pookie and no Ray Ray. It is the collective. That's who is around. Ain't no way y'all gonna tell me that 60% of women are single mothers and they only sleeping with Pookie and Ray Rays.
And you know,
I don't believe it. I just don't
believe
60% of Black women are single mothers, or however many percentage of Black women are supposedly single mothers, and they only got access to Pookie and Ray Rays, and the rest of you men are not deserting and abandoning your family and your kids. That's not true. It's just not right.
I want to say one thing.
Yes, actually, I invited you. This was a closed panel. However, Information Man is in the back. And I know that we're talking about some of his points. And this was a closed panel because I really wasn't going to be on for a long time, and I really didn't invite a lot of people. But let me just, I want to give everybody an opportunity. Hey, Reese. Hey, Reese from Philly. Hey. I am getting y'all cash apps. I'm going to shout y'all out. Thank you so much for the cash apps. I am receiving them. But let me just, Jen, we'll let Information Man on.
Don't let up that Rush dude, because that's not mean.
Oh, that's not mean. I'm glad. No, I definitely wasn't gonna let him up. He had to get out. I told him that you got to get out. But yeah,
because now that you said the name, I was like, I know
you know who that is. All right, welcome, Information Man. Hey, Reese, I'm gonna let you speak first because I know you've been waiting, and I want Information Man to get his point out. But go ahead, Reese. I know. Did you see yesterday's live? Did you? Because you was like, how did I miss it? Did you see it?
I gotta go back. I was jumping in and out of it while I was working out. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I dropped in this time is because I wanted to make a few points. So when I look at these gender arguments, and a lot of blame is thrown around, right? And me personally, I don't know what came first, the hoe or the pimp. So I don't know who's right and who's wrong and who started what, who threw the first stone. Black women say that men turn their backs on them first. Black men say that women turn their backs on them first. But we all put on the chains at the same time. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because I heard a red pill guy try to use the what did he say? He said that prostitution is the oldest profession in the world, right? And it is not. And I'm going to prove that today so the rest of the world can shut the fuck up. Prostitution is not the oldest profession in the world. The oldest profession in the world is whatever that man was doing to raise that revenue to buy that whore. Period. That's mathematics. Now I'm going to give you a little history lesson and tell you where this red pill shit came from. It was a 3-year period, possibly between 1998 and 91. NWA's first album and NWA's second album. Now, when they made that movie about NWA and showed you all the album and the controversy over the songs, what they didn't show you was the second album, Niggas for Life. And this is when we really turned red pill. Like, it even happened to me, and that's why I'm testifying to it, because I lived it. I'm 52 years old. I was a young man when this happened. Just out of being a teenager, you know what I'm saying? This had an enormous effect on my psyche. So I'm going to break it all down for you. Now, on that second album, Niggas for Life, right? They have skits on there, okay, with, listen to me, murder and rape of a black woman, right? That shit's on YouTube. I got a copyright strike the other day for some bullshit for a basketball fight in the NCAA. That is on YouTube. You can find it right now. Niggas for Life. There's an interlude on there. How to kill a hooker. They pull up on a woman. They say, "Yeah, man, I need some pussy." They roll up on her, and she doesn't want to comply. So they grab her, pull her in the car. They're telling her to open up your mouth, suck my dick. She doesn't comply. So Eazy-E just says, "Pop, pop, 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 pop." Put 6 in her head. Man, get this bitch out my car. Then they push her out of the car. And the next nigga says, "Yo, man, fuck, get this bitch out the whip, man. There go some more bitches over there." Like they just made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. After we heard that, right? It was fuck these hoes, shoot people, the whole neighborhood went to hell. And I'm gonna tell you something. 2 years before that album came out, I was walking around with a leather string around my neck with an Africa medallion, leather jewelry. I had a Malcolm X shirt. You know what I mean? Everybody was calling everybody brother. We were calling women or girls at the worst, or slimmies, chumpies. We had there was nobody in the world was saying the word bitch. It was rare. It was a special occasions for that word bitch. So this red pill mindset came via music. And you could blame the white man all you want. Okay, we know what the white man did, blah, 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 right? But guess what? When I bit that bullet and started calling women bitches and picking up choppers and all that, there were millions and millions of black men who did not. Okay? There were millions of them who did not. And we were the minority, the few who looked like all black men were assholes. But we are 100% guilty for the culture that you see in front of you today. Those 35-year-olds and down to 18-year-olds that you guys see on the news causing all this havoc, men and women, those are our sons, our daughters. We didn't stop it. All right? And as far as Annalisa goes, all these niggas coming to Annalisa, let me put you niggas up on something. I've dated women like that before. I've been up against dragons like Annalisa. Consider this for 1 minute if you feel some type of way about her. Imagine having a dragon like that behind you. Imagine having a dragon like that behind you, dog, in your business move, in your altercations with other Ray-Rays and Boo-Quishas in the streets. You want a rider like that with that kind of fire. And, you know, all respect due to Annalisa, I got experience with chicks like that. Women like Annalisa will give your dick a black eye.
Okay, now. All right, now.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to. We're done. We're done with this. They talk about some speak, Reese. No, you're speaking enough.
Right? Yeah, you just.
They don't know, man.
Always real.
All righty. Well, thank you, Reese. We're done. Let's cut this off. But
I was all in the black power, and I was like, oh Lord, wait a minute.
But Reese brought up an interesting point, and so I'm glad Information Man is on, because the Black Manosphere came up last night, and it was a very interesting conversation, to say the least. Let me play it, because I don't know if everybody saw it. But before you speak, because I really want to speak to this point that was shared, and you brought it up, so it's a really good time to just kind of talk about it. Let's see, y'all. I'm going to share this, and we're gonna play this video real quick.
It does apply to black women. It does apply to black women, right? It does apply to a small percentage of us, right? Yes. Or whatever. And just like some of the things that she said does apply to a small percentage, right? But what I'm saying is, where's the outrage when it's said about us in those spaces? I don't see the outrage, is what I'm trying to say. That men get outraged at the stuff that is said. And I agree that we say it, and maybe it is like a low blow, and maybe it does hurt. Right. But what happens when it's said about black women? Where are the men that stand up and say that's not right? Stop saying that about black women.
You mean other? Can I give you some history about how this started on Black YouTube?
Yes, I would love to hear.
Originally, when the Manosphere was started by Angry Man and my man O'Shea Duke Jackson, I used to be on a Sunny Rumble with those brothers. Angry Man, Obsidian. Originally, when the Manosphere was created, black men were just talking amongst themselves, trying to improve themselves, you know, encouragement and things of that nature. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, Tawana, but the reason why this whole beef has been going on for a long time, don't take it wrong what I'm about to say. It was actually black women who actually started the beef on YouTube against black men. They began doing things like flagging channels, content creators channels and things of that nature. But they've even done things, they've even gone as far as putting a hit list of Black content creators, a hit list, saying we're going to take this channel down and that channel down. There has never been in this space a situation where Black men have said, we're going to take down all these Black women channels. There's been tons of women channels on Crystal and Carolyn. There's a whole bunch of them that talk greasy about Black men. They never had their channels taken down, or at least Black men never put together a hit list. But there was a hit list of Black men channels that were being taken down. So what happened is, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but originally the manosphere wasn't about talking about Black people, Black women in a negative way. Black women started talking about Black men, and then all of a sudden it flipped, and Black men started doing their rebuttals about Black women and towards Black women. That's kind of how it got started in the early days of this whole thing.
What Black women was that started this whole?
I named one of them.
Yeah,
we're talking. I don't want to name drop on your channel because I don't want any flack to come your way.
Well, I mean,
but they're well. You can figure out there's well-known channels like the Pink Pill,
yeah,
Kristen and Carolyn. You had these type of individuals who purposely were flagging Black male channels when Black men were having conversations amongst themselves, and you had Black women that started talking about Black men first in a greasy manner, and then when Black men started to rebut what Black women were saying about Black content creators that were in the manosphere, and Black women didn't like that as a rebuttal back to them. When when Black manosphere was minding its own business with men, then those channels, those well-known channels, begin to put together a hit list and say, we're going to take down this channel and that channel.
Okay,
you can ask anybody that's in the manosphere who knows the history, they'll tell you this.
Okay, but information that we can't take down channels. YouTube has a community stand. Like, see, that's I don't like.
No, hear me out.
Like
that's what happened in the past. You got to remember, YouTube is an evolving
they have
platform.
Standards that you have to. If you violate those, then your channel is in jeopardy of being taken down. Have you heard the vulgarity in some of the people?
What happened? What happened was.
Heard it though?
Yes, I have.
All right. I think that's enough. Right, that conveys the point, is that Black women were accused of actually taking down the manosphere.
I've never heard a bigger crock of shit than that. Like, so basically, Black women are the new oppressors of the Black man. First it was the white man, it was society, then it was the weather, then it's the COVID. Now it's the Black woman is the new oppressor of the Black man. And here's why I call a big crock of shit. Again, it sounds juvenile. So basically what he said was, they did it first, so we got them back. There is not one white-run platform on planet Earth, okay, that allows Black men to berate Black women and will take them down and will punish them for it. Okay, every white platform that we are on revels, it's lucrative for Black men to attack Black women. So for him to sit there and say the Black women got us taken down is a crock of shit. Not one white man on planet Earth, okay, in our existence is going to take down a Black man to protect a Black woman. That is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard my entire life. And for him to say that, oh, when it started, it was positive. It was just Black men talking to Black men about Black men. That's another crock of shit. So you mean to tell me that Angry Man dude, Obsidian, I don't know about him. I don't know about Angry Man. I was just introduced to him the other day. I don't know who these clowns are, okay? But apparently they're popular on Black YouTube. I don't know who these clowns are. Society doesn't know, okay? You're going to tell me that these guys were really, what are they, fucking comic book villains? They were nice. They used to be nice. And then I can't even say society happened to them. Basically, he's saying, and then Black women happened to them. And they were reborn. And the villain said, wait till they get a load of me. It's such a crock of shit because he just named a couple women. So why didn't those particular men that were being attacked by those particular women, why didn't those Black men go after those particular women? They do not. They go after Black women in general, as a whole, as a culture, as a group. That is what they do. They are vitriolic. They're disrespectful. They're derogatory. Okay, they're degenerates. The bottom of the barrel. When you look at black men in the hierarchy, they are the fucking bottom of the barrel. So he wants to convince us today that they were just some nice guys who needed a place, a clubhouse, so they can all get along and talk about black issues with black men. And then one day, the woman came, the black woman, and turned them all around. And now they're villains. Get the fuck out of here. I've never heard a bigger crock of shit. And here we are again, blaming black women for the plight of black men. Now black women are oppressing black men, even on YouTube. Let me tell you, black women, pat on the back, because y'all are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Everywhere black men are, y'all oppress them. And they're so helpless. And then it's like, we're going to get them back now. I'm going to start the angry man. And then, you know what's funny? That when you look at the angry man, because people were telling me about him, when I peeked, because I'm like, I can't listen to idiots for too long. He literally looked like an 80s comic book villain. He looked like a Batman villain from the 80s. He's sitting there, fat, shoulder sloped, a big cigar. And let me tell you what else I know about these black women. Ha, ha, ha. I'm like, they take this man seriously? Black man, y'all are doomed. Y'all are doomed. But to hear that, and yes, I don't identify as black, I am Latina. But to hear that as a woman, for men again, to be blaming black women, to be blaming women is pathetic. What other race or ethnicity on the planet does this? Who does this but black men? Hey, when it started, it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The women came after us, so we got our muscles and we went back after them. Listen to what you're saying. And these are supposed to be our leaders, and you wonder why Annalicia goes off and is frustrated? Taking it back to the plantation. Reese, you mentioned who came first. We were both in chains. Black women and black women, and black men and black women were in chains. It doesn't matter. Innately, we're looking for men to lead. Innately, we're looking for men to fight for us. It doesn't matter that we were both in chains at the same time. We're looking for men to lead. I get so fucking emotional about this. We're looking for you to lead.
Yo, can I say something real quick?
I was going to let Information Man chime in because that was directly one of his comments. And
I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I know he's not saying what. So these guys were really nice guys. They were like Mr. Rogers. And they started just, they wanted to talk about crap games and dice and cards. And then these mean black women came in for no reason out of nowhere, just like a fucking comic book movie. They swooped in with their capes and their brooms. Those black men are talking about craps and dice. Let's get them. Come on, Tasha. Come on, Keisha. Let's get them. And then everything changed. And now Reborn is the angry man. And now Reborn is upset. What are we? Is this a fucking, what is this? The Avengers Part 10? What are we talking about here? And this happens in no other culture and race. None. Y'all are not leaders. Y'all too busy complaining about skirts. Yeah. Y'all are not leaders. But we invented the light bulb. So I digress.
May I speak? Because I've been listening for quite some time. So I would like to speak because I'm not staying on the panel long.
They invented the light bulb, so I digress. So
let me just say this. When I talked to you about this yesterday, Tawana, it was not to make an excuse. Some of you have not been on YouTube. Some people have not been on YouTube a very long time in terms of being content creators. So what I was attempting to do yesterday was to give a little history. Now, I said it when I said that, I said it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's right what happened, but it wasn't about saying that black women are somehow holding black men down. I'm saying that those have been on YouTube for a long time and know the history and origins of where the beef. I said this is where the beefing started, the origins, for those who have been around YouTube streets like I have. And let me get something else straight. You go to my channel, I don't get on my channel talking about women like a dog. I get on my channel and I talk about what's happening and I also talk about what black men are doing. So my channel is not a traditional manosphere channel. So let's just get that straight right now. And everybody knows that about me. I don't have a reputation for talking about women like a dog. And what have you. I've had women on my channel that I've interviewed. I interview black folks. And I highlight what people are doing positively on my channel. My channel resonates with that. Now, in terms of the history, I'm not saying that everybody was peaches and cream. I simply said one of the reasons why this beef got started, because when the manosphere, and I said this in the early days, like anything, when something is in its early development, it's new. So when you had black men coming together, before it was originally even called the manosphere, but when you had brothers coming together, you had women on the platform we call YouTube today that were saying things about black men, and you had black men who we would say are part of the manosphere who did not appreciate what black women were saying about them. But what I did say that was key yesterday is that black male content creators or YouTubers at that time, they didn't go out of their way to flag the channels of those black women that were talking about them. They just mind their own business. When it kept continuing to happen, then I said yesterday it flipped. And now you start having a lot of black men intensifying their criticism about black women. And then there were prominent YouTubers who had clout that were women on this platform who began to tell their audience to flag or do whatever they did. Because you got to remember, and I tried to say this yesterday, YouTube's policies have evolved over a period of time. Some things that you can't get away with today, you used to be able to get away with before on YouTube. I know this. They keep changing just like when it comes to children's content, you could get away with that. Now you got to click into your studio that this is for kids and all this. So it's always changing. Now, I didn't say that to mean that means that black men are weak and that, oh, the women are taking us down. I simply said that there was whenever there's an infight, there's an origins to where it comes from. Now, whether it started with men first or women, at the end of the day, it's still wrong for us to be fighting each other like this. But I simply had to tell you the origins of how it happened. Now, it happened. It is what it is. This is where we are today, where once again, we have little to no respect for each other, whether it be black men having respect for black women and vice versa. We have no respect for each other. We don't listen to each other. We can say a lot about what the negatives are. Now, I personally felt that some of the things that Annalicia said yesterday, she made great points. So I didn't demonize her. It wasn't my attempt to try to demonize her. Matter of fact, I didn't demonize her. When I talked about, this was kind of funny about this. We want to set up here and trivialize the fact that, yeah, I did bring up some issues around accomplishments that black inventors created. That's nothing to laugh and trivia, because when someone says to me, tell us what black men have ever done, then of course, if I bring up some things that we have accomplished in history and what we have accomplished currently, because I did bring up some current-ish things that we've accomplished, why is it when I say that, now we want to make fun of it and say, oh, don't tell us about what you invented. No, you asked the question, what have we done? I can tell you what we've done in the past, and I can tell you what black men have done in the future. Now, let me just say this. Because I'm going to do a video on my channel about this, and I'm going to bust it all out of the box on all of you. I'm listening to all this talk about black men this, black men that, and black women that are not doing this, and black men are not doing that. Okay, we know what all the problems were. I think the young brother you had on your channel yesterday, Tawana, was talking about solutions. Okay, we know we got our ills. Black men, we got our ills. Okay, yes, we have our problems. We have not done enough, I believe, to get our communities out of the state that they're in. We have not done a complete enough, right? But that does not mean that there's not black men out there, as I said yesterday, that are not trying to do the best they can to get us out of this state. I'm going to do on my channel to bust it out of the box. I will do a rundown of what black men are doing in organizations currently, not just the past. I will have guests on my channel that will tell you what they're doing in their individual communities. There are black men out here that are doing things to improve the community or trying to do it. That, of course, we're not going to get media when we do things, and the hell with media. We still got to do it. So while you have this conversation about what's wrong with black men, how about having the real conversation about what are we going to do to improve and change the problems that we are speaking about? So that means, what are black men willing to do to work with black women and and black women in organizations and black women that are achieving highly? What are we willing to do to work together to change these problems? What are black women willing to do to work with black men to change these problems? And what are black men willing to do themselves, whether we have black women helping us or not, to change the problem? See, I'm not one of these everyday garden variety guys on YouTube who just cracks up a mic and don't do anything. I am involved in my community, been involved in my community for years. So I am a part of an organization of million black men internationally and nationally that are doing things across the country. You may not always see it, but we're doing it. And like I said yesterday, I engage with black men in my life who are about family, about their children, and about doing the work in the community to make a change. So that's why, as much as we talk about the negatives of our people, at some point, we got to start talking about what are we going to do as individuals and collectively, and what are we going to do as black men to change the narratives that maybe Annalicia was talking about yesterday, about how we're maybe failing in this area and failing in that area. I would agree we do have some shortcomings, but I know as a man myself personally, I get up every day, put my shoes on 1 foot at a time, pants on, the whole 9 yards, and I go out into this world and try to conquer what I can conquer. And I try to get with like-minded men to do what we need to do. We're not going to change these problems by setting up here on YouTube, talking about black men are this or black women ain't this and that, and talking about it for hours and for hours and for hours. If you can talk about it and you're not willing to do anything to change the reality, then what are you just doing? You're just talking. You're just talking. Because your talk is not going to change the problems that you're saying that we have. Yes, we have problems, but how about doing something about it? Black man, I'm talking to black men. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to put this on black women, because I don't really think it's black women's responsibility to clean up our communities if we as black men keep saying that we are the ones that's supposed to be leaders and we want our women to submit to us. Women need to know what they're submitting to, and they need to know that you have leadership qualities. So I think it is on black men to make these changes. Tawana, thank you for letting me speak. But I'm past all the antics and the all that kind of stuff. I heard what Jen was saying. Before you leave, I heard what she was saying. Yeah, I didn't agree with her. I didn't agree with her perspective in terms of I'm not caping or trying to put up a flag for the manosphere. I simply was saying what the history is. I didn't say I agree with that history, and she certainly has the right to how she sees it. I'm just simply saying that was some of the origins of it. I don't agree with men talking negative about black women. I don't agree with black women talking negative about black men. I would rather say
the problem was that it sounds like it was said that black women started the beef and the issues, and so that was the issue. Yeah. What happened?
It might. You may not like the circum. I get it, but you may not agree with it, Tawana, respectfully to you, but that is, how can I say this? That was a partial origins to something, to what we have on. I'm talking specifically as it relates to black YouTube. That in these spaces, there was a rift between black men and black women, where black women had some things to say unfavorable about black men, and then black men rebutted it back, and then all of a sudden things just kind of got out of whack. Now, I'm not saying everybody on the YouTube streets. I'm just saying a certain segment of folks within these streets. However, I'm just saying it doesn't still making excuses for us to be talking to each other in a negative way. Now, I may not have liked what Jen said or whatever, but I'm not going to talk nasty to her or rip at her. I love Jenny on the Block. I love what she does on her show, and she has the right to have her opinion. And I understand that. I understand what she's saying when she's saying that, hey, we can't act like weak men and say, oh, the girls come in us, and then we start like that. Just keep in mind, I wasn't a part of any of that kind of stuff because I don't do that kind of stuff on my show. Once again, it does not make it right. Just because one group says something about another, it still does not make it right. We as men have to be bigger than that. And I totally agree with that. But we're going to have to figure out.
I think some of the men wanted to respond to you.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that
Yeah, I
everybody
just
gets
wanted
the
to ask him a quick
opportunity.
question.
Yeah. I'm
Who
sorry.
Was that Haran or who? I don't know who wanted to say
It's
something.
Ron. I
Go
just want
ahead.
to ask him a quick question. Information man,
Yeah, I'm listening.
are you aware of the solution? One of the solutions that I provided before. Did you hear that?
No, brother, but I'm willing to listen to what you're saying.
Well,
I might have missed that.
One of the solutions that I presented was that, because first of all, yes, you are correct in many of the achievements and the accomplishments that we've done in the past, but the issue with the situation is that, okay, we're still at the bottom of the food chain, so we still have more work to do. Yeah, it's wonderful, and you were correct in what you were saying, but it's like, okay, what's happening now? So anyway, to get on to the solution that I was saying, that I often say to people, is that I work in STEM. I am particularly a software engineer. One of the things I don't often discuss with people is that I invest my own money in a number of nonprofits that teach STEM in the inner cities and so on and so forth. I've done that for a number of years because I'm very, very, very adamant about us increasing our numbers in terms of Black engineers and Black mathematicians. Now, going on to my point. And it speaks to what you have going on your end of things. I've always said one of the main things that we need to do in terms of options that women need to concentrate on are the higher performers. That is your pool of men that you should be concentrating on. And then after that, we should also be concentrating on those higher performing men need to concentrate on mentoring and preparing the children for what comes next and grooming them for what comes next.
Right.
The gentlemen, the men who are underperformers, the men who are in their 30s, mid-30s, 40s, even 50s, and so on and so forth. It makes no logistical sense to sit there and try to convince them to change their ways and move forward. They've made their life decisions. You let them die on the vine.
Right.
The point here that I was saying, that I think Anna, is saying, is that she looks at it from a collective standpoint because there aren't enough higher, performing men to go around. Thus, there are not enough, higher performing men to choose from, per se. Now, the other point that I'm making is that we can do a cultural shift and to reach into Reese's point earlier. Reese basically said that, because of his adopting the culture of MWA and so on and so forth. One of the main things that he said was that they were of a minority. Now, that particular culture kept evolving and it kept proliferating over a period of time, and then that minority became a majority. So what I'm saying is that the best defense that we have in this particular situation is to reverse the trajectory of that and bring us back to where, hey, a lot of those guys with the degenerate ways of behaving and so on and so forth, they are a minority. And we are a culture of people who are actually, filled with higher performers. Granted, You know what I mean? There will always be people who are a bit more capable than others and so on and so forth. But
Right.
I hope we can sit here and agree
Uh,
that the numbers need to improve
right. Let me give you
of
some.
men who are performing correctly,
Right.
who are in the home, who are basically solidifying the culture that we need to adhere to, that can basically help us to get out of the socioeconomic
Right.
status that so many of us are in.
Right. I think
Information
those
man,
generations.
I want you to respond, but can we try to limit it to
I'm
a couple
a
minutes so then I can get
I'm a
somebody
limit.
else to
I,
respond? Go ahead.
I think that generation may come, my brother. In my organization, we have, I think it's about men. Men have to build men. We have to be about the better making of men. And so it's time for black men have to get involved in mentorship. We have to get involved in supporting organizations that are about the betterment of young men and as well as young ladies. So where I live at, we have this thing called Alpha Academies. We have them all over the country and internationally, where we specifically focus on black males, and we deal with black males, whether it be their responsibility, if they get a young lady pregnant, what their responsibilities are there. We mentor them in terms of educationally. We bring brothers in that are professionals to help them in any profession they want to go into, whether it be skilled trades, right? So they're being followed, and we're looking at our youth from the time that they're in the elementary school level all the way up. We identify young black males in particular who are almost to the point where they could be pushed out of the school systems, right? And so we identify them and get them back on track. We also have a program where we deal with the fathers and the mothers and the struggles that they're dealing with raising their family and the issues to deal with socially in this society. So we have these things called Alpha Academies where we do this type of work. We try to push forth young men and young ladies going to college. We provide scholarship programs and we follow them through the system as they matriculate. I personally was involved in a program in a housing project area in San Francisco called Sunnydale Housing Project area, where there were young kids who could have either been in gangs, where we had gang members who actually wanted more for their brothers and their sisters, and they didn't mess with us, and they told everybody in the community, don't mess with the alphas. This is what they're doing. We want more for our kids. So sometimes when you come into communities and you're not preachy and you just do the work, you'd be surprised who will respect what you're doing because they see you're moving with a purpose and you're not being preachy. So those are some of the programs that I've been involved with. And of course, you have 100 Black Men. I see you have a brother here with FOI. I have a lot of respect for what the Nation of Islam is doing and the way they teach brothers to be upright and the way the knowledge and the science that they put out there for young men. So there are certainly organizations, groups, spiritual groups, whatever you may want to call it, that are trying to do the best that they can. And so I believe personally that because it's not promoted and advertised, there is of course, we have women that are getting degrees in education in STEM. There is a generation that is going to college or getting some type of skills. And I think our future may lie in our youth and not in us old folks. I think the future of changing the narrative has to be through our young men and young ladies who are young going forward, because sometimes not everybody is going to follow you or be on program. The word unity really means working with people of like minds. So we got to work with like-minded people, and the people who don't want to get on board, they got to get the hell out of the way.
Can you answer this question from Chicago Rilla? Is there a community, the Alpha Male Academy in Chicago? Are you aware?
In every chapter, alumni chapters and undergrad alumni chapters, there are some form of Alpha Academies or even some type of program where my organization is involved with working with young Black males. We also have done partnership with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program, also dealing with young men who don't have a father, who's fatherless. So we've gotten involved with that as well on a national level. So I would say,
we don't know for sure if they have it in Chicago, like that particular program.
Well, I'll find that out for you because, like I said, there's different chapters, and all the different chapters might have some form of this program. I can't give you off the name where the exact place, but I know that they have some form of a program that's an Alpha Academy in Chicago, and I'll come back with that.
Know if there's one in New York also.
Yeah. Anywhere where we have alumni chapters in any state, there is a chapter that's created some form of what we call an Alpha Academy. So,
but do you understand
Yes.
Haran's point is that the collective, right? We're
Mhm.
dealing with what I understand that we have a specific emphasis on the youth right now. And then
Yes.
that is important because obviously if we don't get the youth on board, we're doomed and my kids won't
they're
have
going to
it.
repeat whatever we're doing wrong now.
So, but do you understand that we're speaking to the collective and what's going on in the community right now?
Yes.
And when we talk about Black men, we're not specifically talking about you or individual efforts that's going on. We're talking about the collective and what's going on in
Yeah.
our community.
Right.
So we
I
have
think
to, but if we don't even agree to that, right? We
Right.
can't even like come to a consensus that the violence that's happening in our community are committed primarily by Black men. We get offended when that's said, but that's a true and honest statement. And then we can't even move past that. So if we can't even agree to what the issues are, how are we going to even begin to tackle them or navigate through them now? That's what a lot of the points are, is like, we can't even agree to simple things that's going on in the community, and we're being blamed for things that really indirectly is not related to Black women at all. Or even if it is related to us, it's not a matter of who's wrong and who's right. It's a matter of how we fix it. Let me let Ishmael go because he's been waiting for some time, and I want him to say his speech. Go ahead. Yeah, Ishmael. Not your speech, but your
No, I got you.
comment.
I appreciate it. No, I just wanted to respond. Yes, we do have our challenges as a community, and I thank you for your acknowledgement, beloved, in relationship to the work that we do as Fruit of Islam. For those who do or do not know me, I am a senior lieutenant in the Nation of Islam. I have been in since 1989. I've functioned in many different capacities in relationship to the work that we do. So I'm actively engaged in this work and this struggle. And I would like to state to Brother Haran that we can't let any of us die on the vine. I think that that's an approach that certain generations have attempted. And if that was the case, we wouldn't have a Malcolm X, a Dick Gregory, a Muhammad Ali, a Bobby Seale, a H-Rap Brown, and a Afeni Shakur, and many, many, many more.
That's true.
We have to use a multi-pronged approach. And just like in any strategy in relationship to war, and we are at war, because anytime you kidnap a people, that is an act of war. So we don't take on the principle and the premise that we are at war, whether it's cold or active, but we are actually in an active status because we are in bondage here in this country under duress. Then we won't really strive to make an aggressive act to getting out of this condition. We have to look at our common denominator and where's the problem and how can we collectively function to approach it. So I'm glad to hear about the Alphas. I'm very familiar with the organization, but I didn't know that you had this branch, and I would love for the brothers out here in the West Coast where I'm at to connect with the brothers there, so that where we're strong at or where we may be weak at, you can pick up those slack and we can pass those young brothers and young men on to you as well. And I think it's the same spirit as the Million Man March, that we have to find a way to just move collectively, and we've done it. So to get 2 million men to come to Washington, D.C. and to make a standing proclamation that we're going to go back to our communities and make a change. And this was not an opportunity for, the minister of the nation to say, hey, look what we did, but to say, look what we can do. And we were successful. And as a single dad, I gotta.
Oh, don't worry. We understand. Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to read this comment from Kendall and see, this is the reason why I'm having issues with some of the men in these spaces. This is what he says. What a lot of you ladies don't understand is that the language you use can be misleading and discouraging. You see what I'm saying? It's like we are responsible not only for taking care of you, taking care of the children you create and all the other things, but now we got to encourage you to do the right thing. Like what we say can prevent you. That's how much power you put on women, is that what we say is so impactful that it will stop you from being anything that you want to be in life. Like, is that ridiculous or not? This is what I'm saying. Even though Information Man, you said what you said, what people took from that is that Black women started mess with the manosphere, and now as a result we deserve everything we're getting. I understand what you were trying to say, but if you are, to me, for the Black community and want us to win, you wouldn't want the perception of a Black woman starting mess in the community to be out there. That's my opinion. Because
Well,
if you do that, that's going to misrepresent us. And see, it's people
Right.
like Kendall. He's an example, right?
Right.
Black women take note. He's an example of a man who will not take accountability for him not doing what he's supposed to do. Instead, he blames Black women and the way
Right.
we're supposedly
I-
talking to him.
But Shay was saying the same thing, and
Yeah,
I wanted
Shay's
to
the same.
I wanted to respond to Information Man show. I don't have a beef with
I
you.
just had to be honest about the origins, whether people like it or not. It's a known fact within the space.
Origin, because
I'm not saying that it's right. That's the key. I never said that it was right.
Okay, so let me respond to that. I don't have a personal beef with you either. I'm just passionate about the subject in general.
Yeah.
Two, that is your gender bonding, right? You're saying that's the origin. I guarantee I can find 5 women that'll say you were the origin. The men were the origin.
Well, of course, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
of course, because nobody wants to be held. No one wants to be accountable for their part. This is part of our problem. No one wants to be held accountable for the part that they play in the dysfunctions that may go on in our community. So we got men who don't want to live up to their
That is
responsibility of it. And then we have women who sometimes don't want to be held accountable for the role that they play in the dysfunction. I do not believe that the community is only dysfunction. I think men are supposed to lead, and we can contribute to causing these dysfunctions. But also we do have some of our women who have contributed. And so therefore we have to all look at ourselves and examine ourselves and be very honest about what we're also doing. So I have to look at myself as a man and say to myself, when I wake up every day, what can I do to be different? See, keep this in mind. I have a daughter, which I think when you are a man and you have a daughter, I think it's a whole different dynamic when you have a son, because now your daughter is looking up to you for the example of what a man is. So I have to be on my P's and Q's to convey a living example to my daughter, what is a man and how a man should conduct himself. So don't get me wrong. I'm not insensitive to what females go through, because I have a daughter who's 14 years old and I've got to look at what she's got to deal with. That Black women, she's a black child. So she's going to be dealing with some of the same things that Black women have been dealing with. And it does concern me.
I
just let you reiterate.
I'm sorry.
The same sentiment. I let you reiterate the same sentiment. You interrupted me, although you gave like 3 monologues. I want to know: are you gonna hold yourself accountable for interrupting me and not letting me speak?
Well, I'm not trying. Well, what I'll do is, because I'm not going to get into an argument back and forth, I'm going to just hear what you have to say. Me cutting in was no disrespect to you. I simply just want to let you know that I'm not one of these men that is insensitive to women, because that seems to be sometimes the narrative on these streets.
That I deemed it as disrespectful. Can you?
Well, okay. Well, that's how you took it. But like I said, respectfully, let me just hear what you have to say. I'll listen. I'm not trying to get into an argument. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So I'm listening.
You sure? I can go now? I want you to get it all out so I can speak. Okay, so what I was saying was, before I was rudely interrupted, though you deemed it not as disrespect, was that I don't have a personal beef with you either. You're great at monologues. I'm glad you're doing community work. But what men like you do is you have one foot in and 1 foot out. Okay. Like I said, you said that women were black women were the catalyst to the YouTube wars because you've been on the YouTube streets for such a long time, which is another, to me, an absolute asinine and very silly stance to take. What the fuck is YouTube? What is YouTube? It's a bunch of black men yelling about women. Okay, it's not a university. It's not an HBCU. It's literally somewhere where everybody cams up and talks shit for hours and hours and hours. You included, I'm sure, right? The only time you're doing anything tangible is when you're boots on the ground, just like all of us. We all do community work. So I could sit up here and talk about my nonprofit. I was a vice president of a nonprofit in Nevada, and I do socks for the homeless, and I can sit up here and do that too. All of us are in our community, right? But the problem with men like you is you have 1 foot over here and 1 foot over here. And you spoke about, well, I have a daughter and I have to show her what an example of a man is. A man, you just stood up here and said it was black women's fault. Your daughter is a black woman, or going to be a black woman eventually. She's probably young now. You stood up here and said that. Men are listening to you. They have sons. They're telling their sons that. Those are going to be the sons in your daughter's dating pool, whether you like it or not. So it's like you want to play nice guy. It's like good cop, bad cop. You want to play nice guy, like, hey, I do all this stuff. But hey, if I got to tell you the origins, again, we're going back into the comic book. I got to give you the original story. It was the black women. Had black women not poked at the black men that were being so nice on YouTube, we would have never been here. So you are perpetuating the message that, yet again, black women were the catalyst to a disaster. That is the message that you're putting out there. But I guess because you're a philanthropist, it's okay for you to agree with these animals. Okay, Angry Man is an animal. There's no way, sir, that you're going to convince me today that that man was ever a decent human being. Have you seen him perform? Have you seen him perform on his channel? You will not convince me here today that that man was ever a decent human being. Ever. And you're not going to tell me that what changed his whole life was a black woman trying to get his channel flagged. So you're trying to play both sides of the fence. It's great fence riding. Okay, I'll give you that. You're very, very skilled at riding the fence. So salute to you. Okay, I like people that perform well, whether it's good or bad. So salute to you. But that is what you're doing. And then to sweep it up all under the rug, and you put the pretty rug on it. Hey, I do this, and I'm with the alphas, and I do community work, blah, blah, blah. But let me give you the origin. It was you black women. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just putting it out there. You can't play both sides of the fence because young men are watching. All right. So what you should say, because then you try to clean it up with, well, it's on both sides. Well, black men are doing this and white and black women are doing. What you should have said was there was a huge misunderstanding in the origin, since you're stuck on the origin of how all of this is, unfolding, because black women, what you should have said, if you were really fair and not biased in the origin, they started bumping heads and clashing in their opinions. And then an all-out gender war started between black men and black women. But that is not what you said. What you said was there were the innocent black men, and they were just having a space for each other. And then the black women came in and all hell broke loose. That is what you're saying. And then you're insisting. You're like, I just want to give you the origin. I'm telling you, I could find 5 black women that would say, those motherfuckers started it. And that's why we clap back. But that is your truth. You want to stand on that square. Nope. It was the black men were minding their business. And those black women came in for no apparent reason. I mean, these black women had no apparent reason. They just all woke up one day on their period and said, black men are the enemy. It sounds silly. And that's the nicest word I could think of. It sounds silly. So you are biased. You're just trying to act like you're not, but you're very, very biased. Because if I ask black women, how did that start? Well, let me tell you, Jen, what happened. There was this guy named Obsidian, or this guy named Angry, whatever the fuck his name is, and he said X, Y, and Z. So then we clap back. I could find women to say the same thing. So just because you're saying it here today and on this panel doesn't make it true. I'm just giving you the origin. And then you're saying like it's factual, like it's a scientific fact. I just want to give you the origin. No, you're giving me your opinion of what happened, of what your buddies told you happened. That is what you're doing on the panel. There is no factual event that actually happened. It's not scientific. You are sharing the opinion of your buddies in the black manosphere. Okay?
No, I'm not. I didn't say that I had buddies. I didn't say that.
I'm not going to let you interrupt me again.
No. I didn't say, but you made so many statements of miscaricature of me as a person. And you sat up there and said that I'm my buddies, and you're saying so many things that were incorrect that I cannot stand, because I didn't say that. You totally conflated what I said.
You will not interrupt me again. It's not happening. It's not happening, nice guy.
You just made a lot of statements that I didn't that were conflated of my character. So I didn't. So I'm just basically saying that wasn't called for. That wasn't called for.
Information man.
I'm fine. I'm not yelling. I'm not screaming. My voice is very calm. I don't think. But I'm being I'm being yelled at, and I'm not even screaming my voice because my character and what I was trying to say has been misconstrued, brother.
Not happening.
I've been listening, but I'm not going to be berated at the same time.
Regardless of whatever's been, can you respectfully allow?
I've been listening, but I'm not going to be berated either.
Continue to listen until she's done. That's all we have.
You'll have a chance to respond.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I spoke up, I didn't berate her. I didn't raise my voice and scream at her, or even like mischaracterize her in any kind of way. I've been very respectful and what have you.
That's fine.
And so I don't have to take that from anybody. So that's just the way I roll. I don't need to argue with people back and forth.
Information.
So yes, sir.
Why don't you listen to the information? And allow somebody else to communicate.
Yes.
And even if you don't agree,
yes.
And even if you feel that somebody's attacked you, then that's fine. But allow them to complete their thought.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
You were given a great deal of time to communicate.
Okay.
And she respectfully listened to you.
Okay,
so why
brother.
don't you give her the same courtesy that she gave?
Okay, brother.
You have a big problem.
Okay, brother. No problem at all.
You're interrupting me.
So I'll hear the rest of what's being said.
I'm gonna keep talking. I got all night. I had nothing to do tonight. I'm free here for you, information man. We got all night. When you gave your 3-4 monologues about what a good guy you were, we were all quiet. And you interrupted me, and I still let you go. So I'm gonna get this out. And if you disagree, guess what? You can rebut. That's how adults do it. That's how nice guys and nice women do it. So as I was saying, you're riding the fence. You will not denounce what these men are doing because it's the guys' club. It's the guys' club. But I can find black women that would say men started it. And at the end of the day, men are supposed to be the leaders. I know black men hear that and they cringe. They cringe. They're butthole titans. We're the leaders. This community? We got to lead? We got to lead? So yes, I agree with Annalicia. The minority is not the majority. I know attorneys. I know black doctors, black attorneys. I know good black fathers. But the majority, the collective is fucked. And that is what we're talking about. So who gives a fuck who invented the light bulb? We're not dealing with the guy that invented the light bulb. We're in these communities with these men. That is the issue. And I'm not going to let you skate out of, well, I do community work. You will not denounce these men. You know they are vitriolic. You know they are dangerous to black women, okay? These men are raising other men. They're congregating together, all right? These are the men that your girl is going to be dealing with. And then come back and let's have this conversation when someone punches her in the mouth because somebody in the manosphere said, shut that bitch up. Then come back and let's have this conversation, Mr. Fence Rider. So I don't care if I'm miscategorizing you. You already proved what you're made of. That's why you were yelling at Annalicia. That's why you're refusing to let me speak, because we can all sit up here and say how civil and diplomatic we are and how kind we are and how much we want the community to rise up. And then we can yell at each other and you can't even let me finish. You can't even let me finish when we all sat here in silence with you giving 3, 4, 5 monologues. The fuck? You can rebut, sir.
Let me just say this for Bronzeberg. You can get your ass out my chat. You really can. You really can. Because I really don't want nobody in the chat talking crazy. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to. I got moderators that can block you. No, be respectful. If you want to be over here, but be respectful. Because you sitting there trolling, and I don't like it. Sorry, go ahead, information man. You can respond.
No, I said it already before. Some of the things that Annalicia said yesterday, I did agree with. There were some areas that I disagreed with, but I was more about, as I said when I came on today, I'm more about the solutions. What I didn't really appreciate is this characterization that I'm holding water for the manosphere or for Angry Man or any of these individuals. I didn't say that anybody was perfect, what have you. I said that there were issues going on at that time. And when it comes to when I said channels were flagged, actually, to be kind of honest with you, because I didn't really get deep into it as I could have, actually, there were channels that were taken down. But that's a whole nother story. However, at the end of the day, I said it's not right because we just don't need black men and black women fighting each other, period. I don't like the divestment channels that you have on the platforms. A lot of this talk is non-constructive because it doesn't really lead to the real question, which is why I came up here today, which is getting to solutions, right? So I'm not saying that it's right to blame. I've said that consistently, that I don't think it's right to blame black women for black men's shortcomings. Okay. I just simply said that whether you want to believe it or not, that has been the beginning of some of this beef, whether it be misunderstanding, black men coming after black women first, or black women. Everybody is going to probably point the finger at each other because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be accountable for what it is that they have engaged in or have done. I'm not apologizing for it at all. And I certainly don't think that black men should spend a lot of time blaming black women. I think we need to get to solutions. And even though when I came up here and talked about what I do, as it's being undervalued, whether you call it a monologue or whatever the hell you want to call it, at the end of the day, I came up here primarily to talk about a solution because it's easy to talk about what the problems are, but many people don't want to get to a solution. So I came up here and talked about what we could do, what we could be doing.
They don't know the solution. And here's a great point from Beta Bell. He says, you started the conversation pointing fingers. That's why it wasn't received. And
what fingers did I point to? Who?
He says nobody cares about the history. If you want to preach solutions, why bring up the opinion about how it started? Right?
I brought up the history because sometimes when you're trying to go forward to make improvements, sometimes it is good to try to figure out, okay, how did this all start? And then once we understand how sometimes some things start, maybe we can figure out how we can stop it, because that's just the way life works and how history works. You look at what is the beginning origins of why this is happening. When we look at what's happening to the black community, you certainly have to look at what's the origins of why the black community is in the condition that it's in socially, economically, or emotionally, or what have you. So you say, this is how the problem started and how can we cut those roots off of that problem to not go back to that level? So I brought that up because it comes down to this. If people come on YouTube or any social media, how about content where you're talking about what's happening positively or whatever's happening? How about we just stop talking about each other in a negative way? I've said this on my channel many a times. What if we just stop as black people? Stop saying negative things about each other as black men and black women and start celebrating what we're doing right, and then turn around and say, let's work together to fix what the problems are.
Let me say this, because
that's how it all started.
It didn't become a problem until women became vocal against black men, right? Because when we were okay with being called fat, being called difficult, being said that we are single moms, that's unvaluable to our community, we are abusive, we are all these things, and we took those conversations. But now that we're countering it, right, those conversations were productive, right? Because it's the manosphere and y'all had a space to get together and it was productive, right? But some of the women saw that there were hatred toward, like, actually saying to do physical harm and violence to women, right, and reported those channels. And you're saying it as if they did something to cause the rift, when really, if you violate community standards, YouTube investigates and determine if it's even
Right.
true or not.
Right. By
And
no
then they
means.
determine if you
Yeah.
you lose your channel or not. So Black
Right.
women didn't have control over they can report. Every
Right.
woman in the manosphere can report me, right? Every woman
Right.
in every man in
Right.
the manosphere, I mean, can report me.
Right.
But if YouTube doesn't see that there's anything problematic with the content that I'm putting out, I'm not going to lose my channel, whether or not you want to report me or not. And that's what
Right.
happens in history. They do investigations.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that even when women now they're being vocal and saying, hey, we got something to say too. Like, if you want to, there's issues that we have too, right? Collectively, I understand that everybody wants these solutions, right? But the entire YouTube conversation is for us to talk about
Mhm.
issues that we are experiencing. We can't even get to what the issues are because we don't agree. So my purpose on my channel, just for people who don't know, is to let Black women know why we need to raise our standards and expectations, and why we need to stop letting people determine our worth.
Mhm.
So I don't everything that you're saying, I don't have the answers because I'm not a man, and I think the men need to go on their own and figure it out. I'm not coming up with solutions for you guys.
Well, that's what
I'm only talking to the Black women
right.
in
And
my
I-
channel who I feel need to see demonstrations of how Black men act and treat you, and how they don't value you, and how they don't respect you. And I want them to make better decisions about who they lay with, so that they can choose better, like the manosphere tell them, so they can choose better. I want them to learn what choosing better means. So that's not the purpose of my channel. If that's what you want to, like, I think that people come on and they're like, they throw out these generalized statements like, well, we need solutions and this, that, and the third. But it's like, but that's not the point. Go ahead, Jen.
Can I say something just really quickly to your point? My father, not one time did he ever walk in my house and gather my aunt and my mother and say, can we come together and think of these solutions? White men, I don't know how many white men you think in government bring women into, we need to come up with these solutions. Again, it's coddling. It's wanting to be coddled, whether they like it or not, whether it stings, whether it's the not all some. It's like, we need to come together. We need to, but if you're blaming a Black woman, okay, as the catalyst for the filth that we see in the manosphere today, for the filth, for the degenerative culture that we see in the manosphere today, I can imagine, you need Black women. We need y'all to come to this solution. When do we have time to nurture the babies, to cook, to clean, to be feminine? When do we have, if we're busy putting pants on and sitting with you, let's come up with these solutions, Jamal, because you can't do it without me. When the fuck do we have time to be women? But again, that had to be a woman's fault too. Black men needing Black women for solutions, that had to be Black women's fault too, right? And this man, he talks out both sides of his face. Look, it's bad to blame Black women for stuff. I'm not with that. But if you want to know the origins, it was Black women. Was it or wasn't it? Is it or isn't it? That's what kills me about his stance, because there are two stances that he's standing on, and he's standing on them. Okay. I just want to know what other race and ethnicity on planet Earth, other than Black men in America, I'm gonna say in America, okay, need Black women to come in, help. I'm about solutions. Let's get to these. Lead. Is that so hard to fucking do without a skirt next to you? Lead. This is why Black men. This is why Black women say, I don't fucking need you. Because if I have to wear the pants and come up with the solutions too, what the fuck do I need you for? That's what the math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. What do I need you for? Mr. Man who needs me, my purse, my solutions. What do I need you for? And they don't want to hear it. Now you gotta be a ride or die. You love me.
Tawana, I think I did say tonight that it's really men who have to develop the solutions, that if we're going to say that we're leaders, we have to be the ones to lead. So I'm not putting it all on women. I'm just simply saying that collectively as a community, we have to work together. But I think men have to be the lead, because if you're going to beat your chest, then you have to lead by that example. And I also said that I've had these type of live streams on my channel where I've brought men on and we've talked about what it is that we need to do. We talk about what we need to do to be productive. So that's what I try to do on my channel. I didn't say, you may not have liked what I said about how the origins of this happened, but once again, it goes back to my point that I was making, is that everybody points a finger at each other, but at the end of the day, can I finish? Can I finish what I was saying? May I finish what I was trying to say? May I finish what I was trying to say? Okay. All right.
That you're talking about, sir. You pointed the finger at black women being the catalyst.
I did not point the finger at black women. I said that one of the things that happened, that there was a rift between black women.
Joker got here. That was the
all right
story.
Okay.
We got the Joker. You pointed.
I said that there was a rift between black women and in which black men. I said that there was a rift between black women and black men. Black men felt that that black women were coming after them. And of course, and yeah, that's how some black men felt on the platform. And as a result, some things happened that created a war of the sexes. I'm not agreeing with a war of the sexes. I'm just saying, now, you were right. There are certainly black women who felt it was black men coming at them. But the point I'm trying to make is that at the end of the day, while we finger point, whether I finger pointed or not, while we finger pointed each other, whether it came from black women or it came from black men, at the end of the day, it's not doing us, either one of us, any good. It's actually hurting us. And that's why my theme really coming up here tonight was to get to, okay, we know that there's problems. So what do we need to do as black men? And then me bringing up my examples of what I do in my area where I'm at, because I think I said that all of us as individuals have to see what we can do, was to say that I'm not just a person who's just talking, but I'm actually actively involved and have been actively involved in working with youth, because I believe that that's the way that we can change some of the problems that a lot of folks are talking about. So when you talk about black women needing black men that are adequate black men who are on their square, then I, as a black man, need to work with young black males so that they are prepared to lead the future of our community to a better place than where it is today. That's why what I was passionate about saying that. I don't think we should trivialize that or undervalue that, because maybe you didn't like the fact that I tried to bring up some issues related to what happened on YouTube a long time ago. But
information, man.
But that's not really what we need. But that's not really what we need to focus on, because we got to figure out what we need to do now.
The reason for the manosphere.
We need to figure out what we need to do now.
We got it. Black women are the reason why these animals.
I'm not. See, what you're trying to do is you're trying to mischaracterize me as if I'm saying, I'm telling you personally, I don't think that black women are. I'm saying to you that I'm not saying that black women are the problem for all the problems that black men have, whether it be on social media or not. I'm not carrying that. I'm not saying that that's what I'm putting up as a flag. I'm just simply saying that there was a history in which people told of this history. That's all I'm saying. But today, in 2022, I'm not blaming black women for all our problems. But you're trying to set up here and paint this narrative as if I'm trying to say that all black women are a problem for black men. And I'm not painting that narrative. So please don't sit up there and say that I'm painting that narrative when I'm not. Okay? Oh well. No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm fine. What I'm about to do is I'm about to step down from the panel, because I don't want to be arguing back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. I'm listening to you.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I understand something.
Hey, what are you bigger than my fucking real father? Think I'm gonna be quiet when y'all?
What were you saying, brother? I'm hearing you. What you saying?
Quiet.
Hold on.
Prove your leadership and I'll be quiet. This is why women.
I'm trying to listen to the brother if I can.
Can
I hear what you're saying? I can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear because somebody is screaming at the top of their lungs.
And you were screaming too.
Right.
You were screaming too.
Right. Because you have been very disrespectful to me. You've been very disrespectful to me, and I'm not going to take that off of you.
Black women.
Anyway, go right ahead, brother. Go right ahead. I'm listening to you.
Okay.
You were
First
disrespecting
of all,
black women with your origin story. You're full of shit, and I'm calling you out on it.
All right. Thank you for calling me out. Thank you. Can I hear what this brother is saying, please? Without you yelling and screaming and acting irately and what have you.
Are you gonna scream? Because you were just screaming. Are you gonna scream?
Well, I can't. Whenever I was talking, you would cut me off and then turn around and say that I was cutting you off, but you were doing the same thing to me. So so I'm not gonna take anything off of you, no more than you want to take anything off of me, and that's just how it's going to be. Yeah, let me hear what you're saying, brother.
You yelled at
I'm here. I didn't yell at her. You're mistaking my passion for yelling. I wasn't angry. I was just passionate about what I was saying about the history of what black men have accomplished. That was just passion. It wasn't me being angry at anybody. It was just passion. So that's anyway. Anyway. Yeah. What you saying, brother?
Okay, hold on. We're not going to dismiss her position, and her position is very valid. And what you have to understand in relationship to this whole situation is that's the language is, and I don't want to characterize it as intentional, but I will say it like this. The tools that have been utilized to divide us as a community fall under those type of actions. When they talk about there's a street gang, and I'll give you a short example. There's a street gang in Los Angeles that are warring with each other. They've been warring with each other for 40 years. The culprit, they claim, is a woman. It's not that the men weren't in control enough of their emotions to not respond in killing another black man, but they're saying that the culprit on why these two black gangs that have been warring for 40 years was because of one singular woman. Now, the valuation of you bringing up the dynamic of how the situation started really doesn't address really the key issue, which you came around to, you circularly came around to by stating that, but we have to do this, that, and the other. Then there was no relevance in bringing up that point. The valuation of it, of pointing out who threw the rock or who threw the first stone, doesn't change the condition, and it doesn't justify the position. And what we have to do as black men is we have to learn how to be able to allow the circumstances to be as they are and address them without saying, well, it's because of this, or it's because of this, or she did this, or she didn't do that. We can't. That's why, okay, and not to proselytize our program, that's why we separate the men and the women. And we have our own separate meetings, and the women are over here having their separate meetings, and we are in violation. We cannot go into a woman's meeting, even though we are responsible for their security and their provision. We are not responsible for developing women. Women develop women. So we have to respect their voice. And when they express dissatisfaction, you can't sit there and say, you can't talk to me that way. Because we're in a condition right now that they're talking to us because we have not done our role. We have not fulfilled that. And that's not for bronze, I don't know, bronze bird. That's not simping. That's standing up for accountability. And anytime you stand in support of a black woman, you're not simping. You're being accountable and you're being responsible. See, we have to stop coming into this Eurocentrized, if that is a word, of how to interact with our women. And this whole, and a lot of times it's not only just Eurocentric, but it's also a coming from men who don't really have a sense of their true masculinity. So they take an attack on women or muting their voices. But a woman is going to submit in the presence of a man. Not in the presence of a boy, not in the presence of a male, but in the presence of a man who takes a position, who stands on it, who is fair, just, and equitable. And there's a book that I read that really set the tone for me on top of the teachings that I'm receiving in the nation from the minister. But the one book that was suggested was of Man of Steel and Velvet, written by a white man. His wife wrote a book called Fascinating Womanhood. But in Man of Steel and Velvet, in managing the home, which was really a light bulb moment for me, in managing the home, the man goes to his family and says, okay, I'm assessing the situation as a ruler and as a leader in this household, and we're going to have to move. He didn't say, hey, let's figure out what we're going to do. He said, we're going to have to move based upon the conditions and the circumstances. What do you look for in the house that we move into? It's a fact-finding mission. And then he sits down and he says, okay, little Jimmy wants to stay by his football league. Little Anna wants to stay by the park where she goes and plays and has a urban garden. The wife wants a larger kitchen in the next home, or wants an extra bedroom. Got it. Then it's the man's role to go out there and make it happen. In the caveman days, the savage days, to go kill the water buffalo, to go do whatever he has to do, and comes back and says, okay, little Jimmy, we have this. Little Anna, the garden is there. Honey, I got a house with a bigger kitchen. That's what men do. They don't sit there and look for, as Jen says, they don't look for a struggle buddy. Honey, I need you to take this out your wallet so that I can get this house. He might say, I'm going to be gone because now I have 2 jobs. And then she'll say, you know, and these are things that I had to learn and grow into. So when at certain phases of my life, I had the traditional perspective, you know, of, yo, babe, well, you know, I can't afford to do this. So can you chip in on and ride or die with me? No. And see, ride or die really comes from a drive-by shooting terminology, if you really want to know where it comes from. it comes being from the west side of Los Angeles. It comes from gangbanging. We're going to go kill another group of black men, and either we're going to come out alive or we're going to die, and you're going to ride or die with us in the propagation of this act of murder. So I don't even like to utilize that term because in its origin, it has no fruits of growth or positivity. So information, man, understand this, brother, and I'm sharing this with you. The position incenses Jen based upon the premise. And understanding that and being challenged by that, you can't be offended if it incites a reaction. You have to acknowledge the reaction. And what we have a tendency to want to do is we don't like the reaction of how women respond to when we step outside the scope of what is right. You can't and understand the valuation of that history.
Right.
The valuation of that history doesn't edify us.
Right. I don't think that she.
And hear me out.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't edify us. So if that was the historical fact, if that was the circumstances, then it's really to go to the individuals and address them.
Right. I'm not really triggered or anything by the fact that about how she feels about that being hogwash, or those individuals that she spoke of not being someone that you want to put on a pedestal or anything like that. What I didn't really like is that I don't want people to get this impression. And if they did, it's unfortunate, but that I'm a man who goes around. Can I please speak? Can I please speak?
On video forever.
Hey, that doesn't bother me because I'm setting the record straight right now. What I'm trying to say right now is that I don't want there to be this impression that I'm one of these guys on YouTube that's going around, because my track record, and people who know me on YouTube know already that I don't have that track record. So that's why it's not going to bother me for this long-term situation. But what I wanted to bring up when I yelled at Annalicia, I was not really like angry at her. I started speaking. I speak with passion sometimes. And when I speak with passion, can I please just say what I want to, when I'm trying to say without I being interrupted? I mean, I'm trying to be respectful. I would like to just make my point.
You don't want to be interrupted.
If I can make my point, am I allowed? Can I make my point, please?
But you interrupt too. You see how?
All right. The brother was talking and I was agreeing with what he was saying and I wanted to say something, get to the point, but I would like to do that. And that's all I really wanted to do. Because I'm basically saying that I don't want people to have this impression because I brought up that ordinance that I'm a endorser. Can I please? Okay, opinion, however people want to take it, opinion or not. I don't want people
boys in the manosphere. You siding with your boys in the manosphere. Your opinion.
I didn't side with anybody. I simply said that this is this was the folklore of the history, and I would like to make this point here. That's a part of the history that's been out there on the YouTube streets for years. I never said that I was against the women or I'm against the men, that I'm against black people. I'm for black people fighting each other. I don't like any fighting on either side, whether whoever started it. I don't think any of it is right. That's been my main point here. And at the same time, I don't want people to walk away and think that I go back to my channel and that wherever I go on YouTube, that I'm promoting a narrative that black women are the fault and the problems for everything that black men have. I don't do that. There's nothing on my YouTube channel where I talk about that, my podcast, any of the things that I do. I don't even walk and move like that in my everyday life off of social media. So that's what I'm trying to say. I understand how you feel about what I said, what you didn't like about it, but I'm saying to you that I don't necessarily agree with the fighting, and I don't go around promoting that black women are the faults for everything that goes wrong for black men. That's not, I'm not defending the manosphere, because I do know that there's been channels on the manosphere where they've talked about black women in a greasy way that I didn't agree with. Matter of fact, let me just let you know something. I have been on panels, especially on the Sunday Rumble on O'Shea's channel with everybody that you know that's known on the manosphere within Black YouTube. I personally, and people know this is my reputation, have been on panels debating, you know this, arguing with dudes in the manosphere who say greasy stuff. I've been on panels with dudes in the manosphere talking about that the community should be burned, and I've been in debates. So the reason why I feel the way I feel, Jen, because I didn't get into this other part of my background on here. I have been on panels with these kind of guys where I have debated to them. I have said to them, okay, if you don't like what's happening in the black community, then what are you doing? Are you involved in an organization? Are you donating to an organization? You know, it gets so quiet, you can hear a rat pissing on cotton. I have battled guys from the manosphere who try to say that I'm a simp when I'm speaking about community, who say the community should be burned. So that's why I don't want to be labeled as I'm sympathetic, or that I'm saying that black women are the fault, because I've actually argued with the best of them in business about why what they're saying is wrong, where I talk about community. I have done this personally in those spaces, and I don't even hang out in those spaces as I did before in the past when I would get on panels and debate these guys about issues. I don't even do it anymore, because a lot of things that they're talking about, I don't appreciate blaming black women for everything. And I don't appreciate talking about, I can't believe I heard black men talk like this, that the community should be burnt down. Oh, by the way, Jen, when I've been on these panels with black men in these spaces like that, and I tell them what I've done in the community, you know what they'll say to you sometimes? They'll say, oh, you're the cleanup man. You're cleaning up the mess for the Pookie and Ray Rays that are getting with these irresponsible women to take care of their children that you didn't bring into the world. So sometimes when you talk about community and solutions, you will have guys calling you a cleanup man for some other person. I've had guys say that to me on panels that I've debated guys in the manosphere. So that's why I feel passionate like I do right now, where I say I'm not that type of individual who runs around YouTube talking about black women are the problem. I've been talking solutions for a long time, and I've had to deal with guys criticizing me for that within those spaces
So
that I've had
information
debates
man.
with. Yes,
So
sir.
information man, pardon me for interrupting there and interjecting, but let me
No,
say
sir.
this is
I listened to what you had to say, brother.
This
Yes.
is a lesson. This is a lesson learned, and this is a moment.
There's an underlying
Because he came at me respectfully, Jen. He came at me respectfully. And I respect when a person comes at me respectfully.
Hey, you're disrespectful too. I was talking and you interrupt me. You're disrespectful too. But
I'm
you
not
think
yelling at you. I'm not screaming at you.
you
I'm
were
not doing
screaming at
anything.
me.
How did we get? How did it get like this?
Chat, was he screaming? I want you to read the chat.
I rose my voice up because you began raising your voice at me. In the beginning, I was very calm and I said, "Why are you screaming at me?" Okay. All I know is the brother wanted to ask me a question, and I stopped because he asked me very respectfully. I'm not screaming right now. I'm not screaming. The only time I
Okay,
raise
so-
my voice
so
tonight is when you begin
information
screaming
man.
at me, and I'm
Information
not going to take you screaming at me.
Information
Yes,
man.
yes. Once again, brother, I'm trying to hear what you have to say,
No,
but
that's fine.
somebody keeps screaming
I'm
and
hearing
speaking
the
up loud.
experience. I'm very clear what's going on.
And the
Let me
reason why
say
I don't
this.
have
Let
a
me-
problem with you wanting to talk to me because you do it in a respectful manner.
But
That's
understand
why
this,
I.
not like understand
We
this.
have a wedgie right now. You
Understand-
want
Okay.
understand
See,
this.
this is what I'm
Understand
saying.
this.
She's trying to
Information man.
gaslight me right now. All the loud voice and and making personal shots towards me. That's all to gaslight me.
can't- let me-
It's
let
not
me say this.
necessary. It's
As-
not necessary because it doesn't
as-
affect. It
no,
doesn't
no.
work with me. Yes,
Hear me
yes,
out.
yes,
Hear me
brother.
out. In these circumstances, in a circumstance like this, as men, we have to have the ability to accept the slings and arrows of misfortune. So when we've come into a situation where we've created an environment, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and it triggers, we have as men, have to have the ability to, whether we're berated, whether we're screamed at or whatsoever, to not be redundant, manly take that. We don't have to be so sensitive that if someone does raise their voice at us, that we have to, all of a sudden we're injured or we're wounded. And and just to go into a brief origin, culturally, historically, that's why shooting the dozens was a skill, because you were supposed to be able to shoot dozens back and forth to an individual and not get emotional, but be intellectually astute enough to be able to combat the individual in that same manner and not engage in any form of fisticuffs. Just a cultural historical nuance since we're going into that point. But I want to say this. There are times when we ignite our sisters, and we have to be man enough to be able to listen to what is being said and not actually be incensed by it. And that's where we make errors, and that's why we even have domestic situations. So and I've learned this over the years, and I've even learned this in listening to many of the older brothers in the nation who taught me, like, okay, brother, when she gets to that point where you can't manage yourself in that environment, because it may occur, your individual continence has to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to excuse myself. You do not go back and forth. I was always taught that women fight women. So I'm never going to fight and argue with a woman, not because she's any less than me, but it's not fruitful. But if she expresses herself in a certain manner and a certain energy and a certain level of passion, that's who they are. That's how they communicate. And we have to, as men, have to stop being so wounded by that expression, because we're dealing with a wounded people collectively. So you're going to see triggers, you're going to see reactions, you're going to see, and you don't have to go back and forth.
I'm not trying to go back and forth, brother. When I was speaking, and I wasn't yelling when I was speaking, I speak with passion. Don't mistake my passion for being angry. But when I was speaking, when I was speaking, and you wanted to say something, because as men, we have a certain way that we talk to each other, and when you were coming in, you were respectful in the way you wanted to say what you had to say. So I respond to that better when people show a certain level of respect. Now I acknowledge tonight that there were times that I do acknowledge that I did cut in when there were times when Jen was trying to speak. I'm able to admit, can I see this? I'm trying to.
You both get along with Ish.
Okay.
You see how I'm yelling at you, but not yelling at Ish. Okay.
Well, the reason why is because Ish didn't show any type of disrespect. And I did admit, I am admitting that, yeah, there were times when I did cut into what you were saying. I acknowledge that. But at the same time, I'm not trying to be, overly disrespectful here. That's all.
You don't admit that you are yelling. You're passionate. I'm passionate.
Well, you were yelling too most of the night. So therefore, when I raised my voice, it was a negative for me to raise my voice, but it was a positive for you to raise your voice. Yeah, what's on, brother?
Wait, go ahead, Reese.
No, I'm gonna
Go ahead, Reese.
I'm about to.
Wait, Reese been trying to get in there. Go ahead, Reese.
Listen, I want y'all.
He has to prove he's a good guy. Information man, he has to stay here and prove he's a good man.
I don't have to prove anything. I already know who I am. My reputation speaks for itself on the YouTube streets. People know what I am. They know what my channel is about, and I know what I'm about off of the social media. So I'm very confident about who I am as a man. I don't need anybody to validate that. But Reese, what you were saying? What were you saying, Reese? What were you saying?
I want y'all to listen to me for a minute.
Black women were outside. It's snowing. Black women must have threw ice out the window. It's a hit. Black women are cooking. It's a hit. It's black women. But I don't want anybody to fight. I think it's on both sides. But black women with an origin.
Jen, rock with me for 1 minute. I want y'all to give me 2 minutes to be what I am. I am an old man.
Okay.
And I cannot keep up with y'all. So don't destroy me. Okay. I want y'all to use this example the next time the two of you talk. The other day when we were on a live stream, a couple times I was listening to Annalicia talk, and in my mind I was saying to myself, what the fuck is she talking about? Then I let her finish and get to the end. Okay. And I understood the full context of what she was saying at the end. Okay. Everybody doesn't always start off so good. I don't start off so good. You understand what I'm saying? So I want y'all to promise me after I say what I say and leave this live stream, I'm going to keep listening. I want to hear the two of them share ideas, friendly. All right, just do that for me.
Listen. What you want? No, Reese. No, we no.
All right, wait.
Okay.
All right, listen. All right, fuck that.
Whatever your point is.
Wait a minute. I want to talk to you.
Whatever your point is, get your damn point out and move on. Okay. You don't need to tell. One thing I don't like is when people come on the panel and then try to tell people like how to communicate moving forward.
I give up.
I'm okay. It's
I give up. All right.
He's trying.
You're the same dude who said something vulgar about Annalicia 2 seconds ago.
That was a joke, man. Come on. Listen.
What's wrong with you? Okay, but no, I do want to say this. I'm glad that you guys got your grievances out, because I do think that was offensive, not just to me, to a lot of women. And I think that it was just kind of like, what did you mean? I guess I get more clarity on what your impression of it was, even though I still don't agree with what happened in the origin. I understand that that's your perception of it, and it's just kind of messed up that, in my opinion, women are thrown into the entire conversations or fights, with men, and oftentimes in our community, for sure, Black men and Black women feel like they need to be like in competition. And I think that women, we compete with women, and men need to compete with men. I don't think that y'all should be competing with us and like trying to fight with us. And to Jen's point, it sounds like a tit for tat. Like, oh, well, she reported this group of Black women reported me, so now we're going to attack all Black women and we're going to discredit and humiliate them. And I do agree with what she's saying. So I don't know that there's a solution there. I just think that it's just ridiculous, like we all said.
I have an idea about a solution, right, to some of the problems. So most of the YouTubers that I listen to, regardless of the gender, their main gripe is what they see in daily life in terms of behavior or how our people act. it's not actually the YouTubers themselves that behave that way, but they're the ones having the fiery discussions, right? So I could talk for an hour about, you know, us bettering ourselves, each one taking initiative and all that. We all know that. But the real problem is the people that we can't reach, right? So like I gave y'all a history lesson about the music earlier. We know where the madness came from, right? And we know how it got into them. So I truly believe that the only way to fix it is to reach them the same way. Now, what we have on YouTube is an army. We're deep now. There are thousands of us that open up millions of eyes every day. And what these millions of eyes are seeing is fiery debates like this, but a lot of the other channels are a lot worse. There's name calling, threats of violence, and guns being flashed. You know what I mean? So I'm comfortable here. But the main point is, if we united as a YouTube army and got at these entertainers that are influencing our youth and the generations behind us, we might be able to impact them. There is no other way we're going to be able to reach them like this. You know, there's nothing wrong with having these discussions. This is fun and, you know, it's beneficial. But to change everything, we're going to have to reach the people that are the problem. They got the way they are through that phonological loop that I told y'all about before. The entertainment that are entertainers. That's who we have to get at. Now, this is just an idea. I don't have any foundations or anything of that. The most impact that I can make on, you know, the youth is to get interactive with them. I go out and I play ball with them. I'm in the gym with them. I roll up with them. Don't get mad at me for that. My young boys are 35 and 40. Remember that. All right, so that's another part of it. I take initiative in myself to get on the streets and touch them, you know what I mean, face to face. I don't have any organizations and none of that. But I really think we should build an army on YouTube.
Okay.
And we're stronger than you think. Kevin Samuels and Cynthia G alone could reach a million people tomorrow. I even came up with some dumbass idea about getting them together on the platform, you know what I mean, to hash things out. And when the whole gender war world saw that, then maybe everybody would take a step back. I got laughed at, dog walked all over the YouTube world. They said it was ridiculous. So I'm just presenting another idea.
I see.
It's just,
I appreciate it.
Build an army, get at these entertainers. Okay. And man, with that, I love each and every one of y'all. I'm going to keep listening, and I'll be back the next time for you and your show and whoever's.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. I'm actually going to let everybody wrap up. So thank you.
The first person I ever donated to in history. Ever.
Oh, well, Reese, I appreciate that. And everybody in this chat, like this video, like it, because my likes are not up. Okay, it's too many people in the chat for my likes not to be reflective of that. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Yes, I think most of y'all have, but please. I want everybody to pretty much let's wrap up this conversation, because that man who I played, he was powerful. If you missed it, please go back and watch that brother. He pretty much broke down some of the issues that are happening, not only in the NFL, but just in the Black community, and what we're doing that's crippling us, that's keeping us in the same situation. And I do believe that talk that blame the oppressor, that, blame women, that blame children, that blame the birds and the bees, those conversations do nothing but cripple men. They cripple you. I think that you are not weak and that you can overcome all of that stuff. And I do think that talk that doesn't really encourage you to do that, those are the people who truly hate you. They try to say, I hate you. I don't hate you, because if I did, I wouldn't see you as valuable enough to overcome those things. And so I think that people who don't speak that way to you and don't see you as a person who can come up with logical, not explanation, but logical, strategic things to help us to build our community and to move us forward, to me, they're humiliating you. That's my opinion. So let everybody else. I'm gonna let you go last, okay? I want Information Man, and then Haran, just to kind of give your, final thoughts. Shay said, I definitely hate him. No, I hate your comments. I don't hate you. I hate your comments, Shay.
Shay is a clown.
Shay is like saying things just to gaslight. You are the exact example of like, you like to gaslight, and I'm not gonna pay attention to it. Obviously, I've done a very good job at ignoring it. Yes. I would like, Information Man, I want you to kind of get your final thoughts and anything that you just want to say, before we end the show. So go ahead, Information Man.
Well, I want to say thank you for letting me come upstairs. And I'll just say this, that all these kind of discussions about what Black men need to do, I talk about this on my show. I've had many discussions on my show with Black men that I've brought on. I've brought Black women on. I have Black professionals. Unfortunately, on YouTube, a lot of our people, we don't gravitate to watching educational programs that present what we are doing positively, but we'll definitely show up for stuff that focuses on what we're doing negatively. And that's just unfortunate, because a lot of times we like the train wreck aspect of YouTube. Unfortunately, I would just say that I'm going to say it again for the record. I'm going to continue repeating this. I do not believe that Black women are the blame for all the problems that Black men have in the world. Certainly, I've been a Black man longer than I've been on social media. I don't walk in my everyday life feeling that way. I've been around a lot of great Black women in my life. My mother, I got sisters, I got people in my family that are doing great things that are Black women. And I think that certainly we need to support each other, no matter, I would agree that we have to stop finger pointing, but I think Black men have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And I did mention that earlier tonight, that we need to come together collectively. We don't need Black women to solve our problems. We have to solve the problems. And that's why I come together with Black men on YouTube, on my channel, and other channels that are of like-mindedness about what we could do as individuals and collectively. And I think that's what we need to do to figure out how we're going to go forward. I still believe, and I've been consistent this way, that to create a new Black society or a new Black world is going to come through the youth that we are working with now to change the narrative for tomorrow. You may not be able to change the minds of everyone right now, but that you could change it through the youth. I remember I talked to you yesterday about they have a program in Oakland, California called Afrotech, and I interviewed a young man who's involved in Afrotech. We got Black folks that are working in technology. That needs to be highlighted more and more. And I think we have work to do, but I think we could have a bright future. Where one of the things that I had disagreed yesterday with Annalicia is that she kind of said, this is the impression I got, that Black men were doomed. And I don't certainly believe that Black men are doomed, because I see too many Black men that are not operating in doom. And there are certainly those that are. And we either try to see if we can help them. We can provide. You got to provide something for people. You can't just tell people, hey, you're not doing the right thing. You're not doing this and that. Usually when it comes to our youth, you have to provide them something to replace what it is that they're doing that may not be the best thing for them. So people are always looking for opportunities. So I would say that I think we need to just keep going forward, look at solutions, look at what we can do as individuals. We can definitely talk about the problems. The brother on the video that you played tonight, he made some great points. I did not agree with some of the stuff he said about as it relates to the NFL, because that problem is bigger than Brian Flores. And it's not that. And I didn't agree with him when he said that, well, Black men don't want to be head coaches or don't want to commit. I wouldn't agree with that, because some of the black men that have been head coaches in the NFL, they get fired even after they've had a successful season or one bad season when they have been head coaches. And then people don't realize this, in New York at their headquarters, they only have 2 Black people working in their front office at their headquarter level. It's abysmal. So I don't think it has to do with Black men being too weak to not want to challenge a system. That's just my opinion about that. I think black men, we are challenging the system wherever we live at individually in our own world that we live in every day. I challenge the system when I go out in the world in my profession and I do things that people don't think that they would see a black person doing. Right? So we're always changing the stereotype and the narrative every day. Those of us that are taking those steps. So I want to end there and just say that no, black women, as I see it in 2022, are not the blame for all the problems that black men may claim that black women are. And I can understand how black women will look at that and say, that's wrong. And I can understand, even if I don't like it, how black women can take what they heard me say, whether it be yesterday, and look at it as, okay, info is blaming women. I can understand how they can take it, even if I don't feel personally that I'm trying to convey that black women are overall the problem, because I don't. So I understand both sides of it. I'm a fair, balanced broker. Nobody's perfect, but I certainly do not want to be labeled as this manosphere black woman hating guy when I'm not. That's not who I am. Never has been. And that's what I'm going to lay on with that. So I appreciate you letting me come upstairs and speak. So
thank you. Thank you. Haran,
right.
Go ahead, Haran.
Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, let's just say what it is. There's an equal amount of blame to be shared across the board. Okay, I think we can all agree to that. Now, with that being said, shared accountability does need to be discussed a little bit more often. But the onus is on the men to find solutions to increase the numbers of higher performing men in the community. That's just it. The numbers need to increase. Yeah, it's great that we do have a set of brothers who are high performing, so on and so forth. But as I said before, how do we increase those numbers? And with the ideas and the culture that is being allowed to proliferate by way of the red pill community, we're in battle with not only what's going on in our community, but we're battling, that idea as well, because a lot of what's happening in that community, it's poisoning our youth, and it's also, continuing to poison, our adults. So we just really, really need to not latch on to a culture that was originated, since we're going to talk about origins, it was originated by, underperforming white men. At the end of the day, if we're really going to talk about origins, yeah, you can do the work, you can do the knowledge, we did not start the manosphere. We did not start the red pill community. This is really about white men fighting with white women, and somehow or another we figured out that was our fight too. No, it's not.
That's right.
It can't afford to be our fight too. Yeah, they can fight and so on and so forth, but I tell you one thing, they'll sit there and they'll throw rocks at each other and they'll do whatever, but they'll come together and ensure that there's systems in place to secure that you're oppressed and you won't be able to get access to a lot of the resources that they have access to. So they don't hate each other too much. They tolerate each other enough to ensure that systems are in place for their, for their younger generations. Never forget, even though Trump was accused of being a vagina grabber, 50% of white women showed up to basically ensure that man stayed and that man got office. They had an opportunity, to finish the work that their white grandmothers and their mothers before them, when they put their boots in the ground to ensure that, white feminism was a thing. That also boxed out black women and brown women, because you know what I mean, white women are usually for white women. But anyway, that's another topic in itself. You know what I mean? They said fuck that, and they went with the toxic white man. And I'm pretty sure that that consisted of more than just white conservatives. I'm pretty sure there was some white female, you know what I mean, liberals in there, mixed in there too, you know what I mean, pushing for Trump. But anyway, with all that being said, you know, we just really need to concentrate on increasing the number of people, you know, number of men who are about leadership or about, you know what I mean, pushing the youth forward or about legacy. And hopefully going forward, I no longer have to be in these particular spaces and hear about Annalise's tone because I'm just really tired of hearing about that. Okay? You okay, Jen?
I'm fine. You know me, I'm fine.
You okay? You
didn't even say goodbye to
you
me.
you went full Bronx. You went full Bronx like a second ago.
I gave the people the Bronx. I had to, and it's
I was like, oh yeah, this is a South Bronx block right now. I'm familiar with this.
You know.
He didn't even say bye to me. I feel away.
I didn't get to debunk his thing about you know, Annalisa saying that the black men are doomed. She never said that either. So I just want to be clear.
I didn't hear it. Maybe I missed it. I didn't hear it.
She didn't say that. So you know, here's the thing though. What you think, Jen? Did we represent our sister right? Because we, you know, we got our sisters back. Because I feel like she gets piled up on in these spaces and she don't deserve it. And I absolutely was disgusted with the way that some men talked about her in the chat and on the panel. I don't like the way that they talked about her. So this entire time I wanted to show support of black women and show black women the types of men that we should not be supporting. That period. We should not be supporting certain men in these spaces. And the reason why is because this is what they do to us. So you guys need to just take note, right? Like open your eyes. I'm gonna be opening your eyes this entire time. Listen, I'm a partner with Jen. I'm a partner with whoever. Like we gonna keep it going. But Jen, I want you to, you know, tell us what you want to say to the people.
Well, if he's still watching, bye, Information Man Show. Okay?
People asked about your channel too, so make sure you say
On the Block with Jen on YouTube and On the Block with Jen on Instagram. I just wanted to say that you know, what was really grinding my gears was he wouldn't concede, even though he knew he was wrong, and that to me is bad communication, right? And even we almost got him there. He went from the origin of the story is black women started it. And then he went to, well, you know, it was folklore. And then we got him all the way up to, well, you know, that's probably how those black men felt. But then he circled right back around and threw it on black women. And we can't ignore that some of these men, even the nice guys, right? It's like when I hear people talk about cops, some of them cops are nice, right? That's what we hear. But the organization as a whole is chopped and screwed. So he says, I go on these Man of Fear shows and I argue with them. You are still supporting those channels. If you are on there, sir, arguing with them and chilling with them and having conversations with them, there's still some sort of kinship, right? Because I'm sure he wouldn't be on David Duke's podcast, okay? He wouldn't be on David Duke's podcast telling them how wrong they are, right? So obviously there's still some sort of camaraderie. There's still some sort of underlying, no, let me put the onus on black women, because if it had it not been for black women, the origin story, had it not been for black women, the manosphere wouldn't be what it is today. I thought it was the most asinine thing I have ever heard. These men are ugly, vitriolic. I mean, ugly in character, vitriolic. They're angry. They're bitter. And he's trying to tell me that all of that stemmed from some black woman got a page taken down. And I still stand by, white men are not going to protect black men from black women. It is not happening, not on a white-owned platform. If anything, white men want us to argue. They want us to fight. So for him to say that was asinine, I just think he was playing like, hey, I'm one of the nice guys, but you know, those black women, I heard, you know, the origin story. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And he wouldn't concede. He wouldn't just say, hey, listen, I misspoke, right? I wasn't there. It was something I heard. It was something they told me. I wasn't there, right? is no different than me coming on and saying, hey, well, Black women told me that they started and I'm standing on that square because Black women told me that. He could have came in and said, this is what they said happened. This is how the Black women responded. And now we're here today. But he kept wanting to drive the point, but he was icing it with, I'm a nice guy. I do community work. I'm a nice guy. But he wanted to keep driving the point. The origin story is, whether you like it or not, Black women started, and I wasn't having it. I don't care how many socks he gave to the homeless. I give socks to the homeless too. I don't care. I was not having it. And I was telling him that even him saying that as a nice guy, these people out here are vulnerable. They're vulnerable, especially Black bitter men. They're vulnerable. They want to hang on to. Why do you think Kevin Samuels has 1 million followers? They want to hang on to anybody. Just resonate with me. A Black woman did me wrong. Just resonate. I want to resonate with someone who doesn't like Black women. And even the nice guy is saying that it was the Black woman's fault. Even the nice guy. So it's like, where do these men go for guidance when the assholes are saying Black women ain't shit? And even the nice guy is saying, well, you know, Black women did start the problem. Where do they go? Where do they go? And that's why I kept saying he was fighting the fucking fence. Are you anti or pro? Because it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like you don't want to say too much because you would still want to hang out in the manosphere and allegedly tell them they're wrong. But then you also want to support Black women. Which one is it? Which one is it? Because from here it's confusing. And the philanthropy doesn't make up for it. It's confusing. You have to pick a fucking side. Pick a side. You can't say some cops are nice. Can't blame everybody. So what he did was, now end here, because I know you guys want to leave and I need some water. What he did was he would exaggerate my point to try to take my point away. I'm very good at this. Haran, you know, I am very he was trying to, I never said Black women are the problems of all the world and all Black men. But the thing is, I never said that either. But he was trying to exaggerate my point so it sounds ridiculous. And what I kept saying over and over and over again, I didn't say you said that, sir. I said that you said repeatedly the origin of the toxicity of the Black manosphere. Black women were the catalyst of it. Did he not say that? Am I bugging? Is this a Twilight Zone? He kept driving that point. Well, the Black men were just, you know, they were having their space and their time to talk. And I'm glad Haran brought up that it was a fucking Eurocentric idea. That's how it started. So how is he even saying that the origin was Black men? So that's what he was doing, exaggerating my point. I never said that Black women were I never said that either. What I said that he said was exactly what he said, that the origin story of how the Joker got here, right? The origin story was that Black women incited Black men to turn into these monsters. And that is not what the fuck happened. And we're always going to look for the men to lead. Even Shay in the comments was like, oh, we want to do the work. We just don't want Black women in our way. Just don't get in our way. You think white men are saying that? You think white men are in the government saying, hey, white ladies, don't get in our way. You take power. You don't ask for it. You don't say, oh, that woman got in my way. That woman got in my way. I can't run my community because that woman got in my way. My baby mama was too mean. She got in my way. Come on. Like I just didn't like that. And that surprised me about him. And then trying to like point the finger. He was like, let's not point fingers. But he started the conversation pointing fingers. Let's not scream, but I'm just being passionate. I'm not screaming. And I'm like, wow, I just thought he was different. Even with that said, no love lost or found, right? I can still have a conversation with him. I can still have a debate with him. I can still be civil, diplomatic, and nice. He didn't even say goodbye to me. So if you're watching, bye, Information Man Show. It was fun. Like, ain't no beef for me. When I log off, I log off. But he didn't win this one. It was corny. It was corny at every turn. It was corny.
There's one particular point about
when y'all hear me yelling, y'all better say I'm passionate. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, you were just passionate.
There was one particular point about Kevin Samuels that I want to bring up that a lot of people don't. I saw one person actually speak on it, but anyway, there was some white women on a panel one time before. And Kevin brought it to them. He actually had some white women there, and there was a member of the white manosphere, Rollo Tomasi. He's like God in the manosphere. You can look this guy up. He has a book called Irrational Male for a while. And anyway, They're on the panel, and Kevin, he brought it to those white women. He spanked them. You know, in the same manner that he brings it to, you know, black women, he brought it to those white women. Now here's where things get dicey. Rollo Tomasi the next day makes a stream basically checking Kevin Samuels for checking white women. You can do the knowledge on this. Oh yeah, this is out there. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making this shit up. You know, if I can find it
And
myself,
he's a white man, correct?
Yes, Rollo Tomasi is a white man.
He's a white
He
man
basically checked a
checking
black
Kevin
man
Samuels for checking
white
his women.
women.
Exactly.
Now, the white manosphere has many issues with, you know what I mean, feminism and women in general. One of the main points is hypergamy, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? But all that stopped the moment that he saw a black man kicking in the door and telling his woman to sit down and chill out somewhere. I'll let y'all mull over that right now. I'm not even going to even speak on it. And anyone in the chat, feel free to research it. Feel free to research it. The internet is forever. I'm sure you can find it.
I may play that on my next. I may play
And I'm
that.
sure you can find it. And Kevin, he brought it to those white women the same manner, you know. And that man from the manosphere was there, Rollo Tomasi, and he was there. He was looking. He was watching. And the next day, he cut into him on his show. And this is fact. And this is the, so if he's willing to do that to a black man for checking a white woman, what do you really think the white manosphere thinks about the black manosphere? I'm just saying.
Because they always say,
pay attention to what you follow.
White men talk about white women. No, they always talk about women in general. They never single out. They never say white women are this, white women are that.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at they named several. They were like, oh, look at this one, Tawana. Look at this one. I went and watched those men videos. I was like, okay, when he gonna talk about white women? Because that's what I was supposed to be getting videos. I saw him talk about Nick Cannon. I saw white men talk about black men, A$AP Rocky. Oh, they talk about them like a dog.
Oh yeah. I said, they do. And this is why I don't subscribe to it.
Why y'all pointing to these white men who are talking about y'all dumb? They like.
Look, man, rule number one in my mind, rule number one for me, if you're standing on a particular side and you're surrounded by white people, you on the wrong side, man. Okay, you need to reevaluate your stance. If you can look around and you're surrounded by nothing but white people and you see less of your people and people that look like you need to reevaluate your stance. And you know, we can't afford to fight with each other. We just cannot.
Yes. Well,
so I'm done with that.
I agree with that, and I wanted to say, I agree with that, and I wanted to say that it just shows the character of the bitter black man. Because now I have to say, not all. Because like I said, I know some great black men. There is some excellence in my life. There was some excellence on the panel tonight, right? So yeah, not all, some for this particular comment. But when you look at the black manosphere, it is toxic. It is poison. What other group of men? The women went after them, so they waged war on the woman. Where does that happen? Like again, I'm sorry I keep bringing up my daddy, okay? But a lot of what you see here is my daddy. My father was.
You had an example, and he showed you what a man is supposed to do.
Would have had a woman go after him. He's like, I'm waging war on this little lady. My father would have been like, get out of here. That's cute. But this guy's telling me that they formed a whole organization to go after a black woman or a couple black women. I got a page taken down. That's why we've had 10 years of black men warring against women. So you think women are your equal? You think you have to go to war with women? And then they wonder why.
They do. They really think they have to go to war with us. Yeah, I hear
Yes,
that there's a war being started on me right now, which is so stupid. I am not going to respond or go to war with any man. So you
Yeah.
can just keep talking. I'm not going to go to war with no man, and I'm not going to talk. Like, I'm not going to respond. I'm going to show that you're the violent criminals that you are. Like, that's what it is. If that's what you want to portray, if you want to show people that you are that, then that's what it is. Like, I'm not about to respond to that. I'm just
and
not.
It's always men in my comments.
Always men.
Always men. It's not even women. It's always men. Oh, you know, the angry man wants you on stage. The angry man. First of all, I said there are a billion motherfuckers on this platform. All of them are angry. Which one? I don't know anybody named Angry Man. That I said earlier, society doesn't know who these fucking jokers are. Nobody cares. Nobody cares beyond this box who these motherfuckers are. They're not relevant in society.
That's right.
They're only relevant when they have to go to war with black women. You're not relevant. You don't count. You don't even count in society. Why am I going to take time out of my day to go argue to on your platform while you are smoking your cigar, talking about black women? For what? Who are you? You're
looking like this.
You're that guy. I'm from the Bronx. You're that guy that I used to walk by talking shit on the corner. Like, you're that guy. Why would I even go over there? You're that guy. Like, oh, the angry man talking about you. Good. I hope he spells my name right. And guess what? Since he talked about me, salute to you, sir. Okay. I got like 200 new subscribers, and you should see my spin count on my last video.
That's
so
right.
Thank you for being part of my street team. Thank you for being part of my street team and my marketing team. Salute to you. I just wish Angry Man had even more followers so I can get more people over on my page. I wish he had 1 million followers and was talking about me.
They might as well say, go follow Juana Chica and On the Block with Jen, because that's exactly what they do. They just come over and follow us. So thank y'all for the
spins are looking better. I got more subs. So thank you.
Thank y'all for the free promo. Thank you guys. And no, Anton, black men and black women don't need to go their separate ways. Like degenerate black men need to go their separate ways. There is a lot of black men that we can concentrate on. And I'm going to show black women exactly who we should be paying attention to and who we shouldn't. So that's your impression. If you don't want to partner with black women, fine, move on. It's other races of women who date men of color, but that is not what all people should be doing. So no, I don't agree with that. And thank you, Haran. I do agree that, you know, we're going to have another discussion, and I hope you come back so we could talk about some of those things, those solutions. And I also just want to teach women like what vetting should look like, right? What things they should be looking for, you know, specific examples of like vetting, you know, techniques, what they should be doing. And I hope the men chime in and help us, you know, just really think about the type of men we should be allowing in our life and in our space. And I got some advice for y'all as well. But don't forget to like this video.
Wait, I gotta respond to David Johnson, the asshole. Yes, I am in the bag, girls too.
Yes.
Yes, I played a Colombian drug dealer.
She did.
Especially white people money. It's everywhere too. It's on Stars and Amazon, Hulu, and all that. Yes, that was me.
Yes, guys. Check it out. Check it out, y'all. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, share this video, and don't forget to comment afterward. If you didn't get to comment in the chat, comment afterward and let me know what you think. Thank you guys. All right, Jen.
Good night,
bye, Ron. Thank you so much.
Woo!